before the agenda, we would like to document your presentation, your the participant within this webinar. So I think the committee will snipping or screenshot the participant during this webinar. So we encourage you, all the participants, to turn on your camera, and if it is not possible, I think you can turn on your background as already informed prior to the webinar. I think we can have we are having 75 participants for the time being, and also we have 3 slides. So give us a moment, in around 1 minute to 2 minutes, to screenshot your the participant. I think some of you can turn on your camera. Thank you.
Okay, wow, I have seen great faces, young people, and also, yeah, amazing people who care about the environment who are attending our webinar. Very happy to see your faces. And finally, I can see more faces turning on, and we are going to wait for you to turn on your camera. And another reminder, another short reminder, we have told you in the WhatsApp group to use the background if you cannot turn on your camera with your face, or if you're not able to do so, please use your profile picture so that on the screen we can see face, not only name and dark screen. So we are going to wait.
Okay, we are going to screenshot for the first slide. Please put on your camera and smile, please. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now goes to the second slide. Okay, please turn on your camera, please. Okay, thank you very much. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now the third slide. Okay, you can turn on your camera. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much. And the last slide. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, thank you. And I hope that some of you can keep your camera on during the webinar so that we can have more meaningful discussion. Maybe before we start, I would like to ask several participants about their thoughts. Does anyone want to, or can I call for someone? Yeah. Abi Zakaria, could you please have conversation with us? Okay, or Moh Ivan Firmansyah? Hi, where do you come from? Hi.
Hello, my name is Moh Ivan Firmansyah. I'm from Indonesia. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so do you have any specific motivation in joining this webinar?
Yes, sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that all of us here are having specific motivation, but perhaps now still keeping it on because we're very excited to know which type of things are we going to learn. Yeah, so yeah, hopefully everybody can prepare themselves with perhaps paper and pen or any type of things to write down the things, and perhaps to prepare any type of questions. Yeah, we are going to be as open as possible to your questions, so do not think that, oh, perhaps this question is too like it is not related to the topic. But as long as your question is you have the concern about the environment and perhaps about the electric, electric sources around your area, and the things that you are using every day, perhaps your motorbikes, your cars. Yeah, we have questions. We are very open to those type of questions, everybody. So yeah, and do not forget to make yourself as comfortable as possible, and do not forget to also fill in the link, the registration link that we have put in the chat box. Okay, and we are going to start the session shortly. And before we start, you can like have and prepare yourself with everything, snacks, water, and stuff. Or maybe you want to visit our Instagram to know more about our speakers or about our previous program, about the ECCO webinar, and about the ECCO ambassador especially. We're very happy for you to be able to do so. And also maybe talking a little bit about our previous webinar, where the topic is about youth, yeah. And I see that most of the people here are the young people, and I'm very happy to know that these people have the perhaps passion or have the awareness about how we live, how we've been living with the environment, so that especially for young people, most of the times we think that we do not have the power over anything that we are doing with our environment. But in reality, we have very strong relationship with our environment, and sometimes it is very hard to find people or community to be able to have this type of discussion, to have the type of awareness, including myself personally. So I'm very happy when I can meet one or two people, or even in this webinar, we have like amazing speakers. It is very, very amazing and energizing to have and know more about the environment. Okay, so now we are going to start and open the webinar. So please follow the rules and make yourself comfortable. The Honorable Governor of West Nusa Tenggara, Dr. Zulkifli Mansyah, SA, MSc, the Honorable Vice Governor of West Nusa Tenggara, Dr. Insinyur Hajah Siti Rohmi Jalilah, MPD, the Honorable Representative of Kujawsko Pomorskia, Miss Sylvia Tubielabich Oleinik, the respected speakers, Mr. Peter Kho, Mr. Krzysztof Burda, and Mr. Ahmad Jaya, and also all of our distinguished participants. Welcome to ECCO webinar with the theme, Preparing for the Age of Electromobility to Achieve a Sustainable Future, which is organized by Yayasan Youth ECCO Indonesia. Yayasan Youth ECCO Indonesia is a youth-based non-governmental organization from Lombok, West Nusa Tenggara that is working to tackle environmental issues through climate literacy and concrete actions. ECCO has conducted many events, including the ECCO debate and informative webinars to help the young generation to get involved in environmental issues. Their latest program is ECCO Brand Ambassador. You can check the details on their Instagram at ecco.foundation, or you can Google it to eccofoundation.com.
We also would like to deliver our thanks and support for all the sponsors during the success of this webinar. We have Trihita Karana, we have IRE, Polish Chamber of Electromobility Development Associations, we have Eco Energetica, we have Kujawsko Pomorskia Regional Governments, we have NCC, National Center for Climate Change, we have Government of West Nusa Tenggara, we also have Lombok Debating Troops, Telucraft, Historia Language Services, Blue Ocean Lobster, LPP NTB, STP Mataram, Walhi Sulawesi Selatan, Green Youth Movement, and Ecotech. Thank you all for the sponsors. for supporting our webinar today, second term preparing the age of electromobility for a sustainability, Saturday, 7 August 2021. To open the webinar, we would like to hear several welcoming speeches from distinguished guests that have helped us to run this webinar.
First of all, we are going to watch the welcoming speech from the Vice Governor of West Nusa Tenggara, Dr. Insinyur Hajah Siti Rohmi Jalilah. For Dr. Insinyur Hajah Siti Rohmi Jalilah, the time and place are yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity, the Honorable Representative of Ujasko Komiski Poland, Ms. Sylvia and Mr. Father Parsin, Honorable Krzysztof Burda, CEO of the Polish Chamber of Electromobility Development Association, Honorable Peter Kho, founder of the Electric Vehicle Community Indonesia, Bapak Ahmad Jaya, SPDMT, lecturer of Engineering Electrical Department of Sumbawa Technology University. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable speakers, host committee, ladies and gentlemen. Alhamdulillah, praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala because you can attend this event in excellent health amidst the rapidly changing global pandemic COVID-19. I'm delighted to see you all virtually. First of all, I would like to express my appreciation to the Foundation of ECCO Indonesia for hosting this webinar. It focuses on how the youth play their roles and actively discuss innovative and strategic solutions to resolve challenging global issues like climate change and the environment. There is no doubt that climate change and environmental issues are the critical global and national concerns that we fight for together. For example, waste management and renewable energy initiatives are necessary to be done in today's lives. That is one of the reasons why the West Nusa Tenggara provincial government has developed a program to make our earth a better place. Moreover, beautiful and sustainable nature is the best legacy for our future generation. Therefore, the role of youth becomes exceptionally significant in making it happen. Speakers, ladies and gentlemen, I read the letter of invitation for this seminar with the theme of electric cars organized by several youths from West Nusa Tenggara. It turns out that the young people of West Nusa Tenggara are extraordinary. I'm personally very proud of you all who have started creating electric bicycle, electric motorcycle, and electric cars. Our responsibility is to provide support and a conducive place for the potential youth of West Nusa Tenggara so that your work can be widely impactful and compete with other innovative products. Electric-based bicycle, motorbikes, and cars will be a definite need for us in the future. It is because the pollution caused by fossil fuels is already threatening our air quality. Again, congratulations on this excellent conference. Hopefully, this conference can increase the enthusiasm of the youth so that they can play a more active role in protecting our planet and being more concerned about climate change. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Ibu Vice Governor Dr. Siti Rahmi Jalila, for the inspiring speech. We highly appreciate the support from the local government in West Nusa Tenggara in supporting our webinar. Not only that, but the government of local government of West Nusa Tenggara also has supported the ECCO Youth Foundation's several programs, not only in debating program that we have established, but also in ECCO ambassador that we are going to establish in future. Thank you very much.
Okay. Have a nice conference.
Thank you. Thank you. The second speech is sent all the way from Poland, the Minister of Climate and Environment, Mr. Michał Tadeusz-Kortyka, will give his opening remarks in the following video. Now, let's watch the video from the Minister of Climate and Environment of Poland, Mr. Michał.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear young friends from Indonesia and from everywhere in the world, as I heard that your initiative is gathering also people from other countries. And it's especially interesting for me from Poland to be able to address to you in Indonesia and help you promoting this great initiative that you engaged in, ECCO Ambassadors. My special thanks and congratulations go to two young people from Indonesia studying in Poland in a city of Toruń, and they spoke to me and they were extremely enthusiastic about this initiative and about how much it is engaging young people in Indonesia to be ambassadors of a better future which protects our planet, which protects our biodiversity, climate, and oceans. So it's my great pleasure to address you during today's ECCO Ambassador Seminar on preparing for the age of electromobility to achieve a sustainable future. And let me first stress that I believe and I think that it's not possible to achieve goals related to environmental protection, climate neutrality and sustainable future without taking into account the issue of deep transformation of the transport sector. In this sense, for the first time in many years, transport is becoming a tool for mitigating climate change. I think we all would agree with the fact that a sustainable future in terms of transport is a huge challenge, and especially for a country like Indonesia, thousands of islands, how to communicate between them, how to communicate inside the islands, it is an extreme challenge, but also a great opportunity to bring electric mobility at the heart of your country and at the heart of creating new networks for public and individual transport. And let me come back, let me stress that currently more than 60% of global GHG emissions come from transport, of which about 11% is accounted for the road transport. In the European Union, where Poland is situated, transport is responsible for as much as 29% of greenhouse gases emissions. And these transport emissions are increasing year by year, despite the fact that emission reductions are observed in many other sectors. So if it is the case within European Union that we are facing this challenge, you certainly, also in Indonesia, you face the sustainable challenge as well. And we must see this challenge as much as a country-level challenge, as well as individual decisions. These individual decisions that we make every day. How do I get to school, work, or shopping? This affects total emissions from transport. Every journey matters. But as much as every journey matters, it is extremely important that also we find new ways of providing with these journeys of the future. So electric cars, but not only electric cars, but also electric public transportation, electric buses, tramways, even ferries may be electric. And in many Polish cities, we right now are very much progressing in implementing electric mobility solutions, which are better for the planet, but which are also generating great industrial opportunities. It is also increasing quality of life. Electric car is simply much more cleaner, quieter, and also easily accessible once we have electricity. So I think that in Indonesia, it is possible also to go for some kind of laboratories where you could imagine new ways of communicating, new ways of organizing journeys, which would be electric journeys and not anymore combustion engine journeys. There are more than 1 billion vehicles in the world, of which only about 12 million are electric vehicles. But we are sure that this number of electric vehicles in the world will be increasing very, very quickly, and these cars will be becoming increasingly cheap. So, if you wish to organize in Indonesia, in big cities or in small islands, new ways of organizing mobilities, let's go for electric mobility. And I think that this is a challenge that you, dear young ECCO ambassadors, are facing, but that's also a great opportunity for your future, for the future of your country, and for the sake of our planet. So I thank you very much for inviting me for this important event, and I hope that the discussion and presentations today will be very fruitful, and that your initiative, ECCO Ambassadors, will be only thriving. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for Mr. Michal Tadeusz Kurtika for the very enlightening speech. And now for the third speech, we would like to invite the representative from Kujawsko-Pomorskie, Ms. Sylwia Tubielewicz-Olejnik, to give her speech. The time is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and for somebody still good morning. Hello to everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you for introducing my name perfectly. It's very complicated, but sounds like Polish. So it's great honor and great pleasure to be here, even it's 7 in the morning in Poland. Today we will have the opportunity to raise a topic that is extremely important for the functioning of the community, economy, but above all for the climate on our planet. The title of today's conference is Preparing for the Era of Electromobility to Achieve a Sustainable Future. In the last 100 years, humankind has made unimaginable strides in many areas of consumer technology. When we look at the history of our civilization, the speed and quality of changes that we can observe in the 20th and 21st centuries are amazing. It seems that there has never been such a rapid pace of development in history. Even the fact that we can meet people on the other side of the planet online and talk as if they were right next to us is amazing, like today. Of course, I would prefer to be with you in Lombok, not just online. inventions and technological solutions which we use today, sometimes without reflection on it, were not so long ago a distant dream of the most daring minds. The era of internal combustion engines, which revolutionized an enormous number of areas of life, is slowly becoming a thing of the past. An increasingly aware society, out of concern for the condition of our planet, chooses ecological solutions. Communication and transport are still one of the most needed areas in our lives. These areas hold up the global network for the flow of goods and services. Therefore, electromobility is a key issue not only for government officials, but it's also becoming the daily choice of millions of consumers. Technology gives us a choice. It depends on us today whether we will be able to individually influence the condition of our ecosystem and climate. However, it is important that we are aware consumers. Choosing electromobility is just one step towards flow-free transport. Electricity, which is the leading element of the solution, must also come from ecological sources. Otherwise, the whole plan to be climate friendly is only facade. I mean that we should perceive this issue in holistic way. So today we can discuss how we can reach the global era of electromobility and where we can find obstacles in this plan to achieve sustainable future. I wish all participants the interesting and fruitful discussions. And I want to add that I'm happy and proud that the ECCO Seminar initiative was initiated by students from Torun, together with students from NTB. I wish you all the best, and by watching the way you act, I'm convinced that, as it was said a week ago, thanks to you, a great movement for building environmental awareness in Indonesia just started. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sylvia, for the insightful speech. As we know that the combustion engine era is the past, and we are now facing the future, that EV is the future. Thank you very much. And for the next, yes, thank you. For the next speech, we would like to invite the founder of ECCO Youth Organization. She's the one who's behind the project in Indonesia, especially in West Nusa Tenggara, Ms. Walisa Tanaya Pramanasari, to give her speech and welcome you on today's event. To Ms. Walisa Tanaya, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Erwin. Hello, everyone. To the Honorable Governor and Vice Governor of NTB, the Honorable Minister of Climate and Environment of Poland, the Honorable Representative of Kujawsko-Pomorskie Region, Poland, our esteemed speakers, distinguished guests, sponsors, and partners, our wonderful participants. Welcome to ECCO webinar with the title of Preparing for the Age of Electromobility for Sustainability. It is my pleasure to be with you all today as the founder of ECCO. And before we go into this seminar, I would just like to address two questions. So why should we talk about electromobility? Why is ECCO, the Youth ECCO Indonesia Foundation, concerned with this issue? So ECCO Foundation here, as the Environment and Climate Change Organization, not only observes the issues of the condition, we are also very engaged in imagining the future. So we see that the government of Indonesia now plans for tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of EVs and charging stations by 2030. Why? Because of course we want to be aligned with the UN SDGs. We want to reduce carbon emissions. We want to preserve the environment, right? And we see that all of these things are related to what is our vision of the future. ECCO Foundation here wants to engage actively in this. And the founders here of ECCO, the members here, it's not only me. It consists of a great number of people here from NTB and also some students of the Beasiswa NTB scholarship program, right? Which is a great pleasure given to us by the NTB government. So we really thank the governor and vice governor and also the provincial government for this opportunity. Because of this program, I got to spend my time at Nicolaus Copernicus University, Torun, Poland, and I experienced studying abroad. And it was a great experience. And not only the campus is awesome, and I learned a lot of things, but also by living there, experiencing the surroundings. In the small, seemingly small things like going to campus by train or electric scooter or electric motorbikes, using my app to get to these vehicles and go everywhere, just experiencing the eco-friendly lifestyle there and meeting the active players, for example, from Pira and Eco Energetica, which we got to visit at Zelenagora, all of these wonderful active stakeholders in how they're trying to make this vision of the future come true, this greener future. Now, in that experience, I also reflected on Indonesia and the current efforts. The electric scooter developed in Indonesia is already here, but some of us don't really know about it yet. Some of us don't really know about the exciting development of the electric motorbike at Universitas Teknologi Sumbawa, for example, which is also under the program of Pak Jaya, one of our speakers here, or the topic which is explored and promoted by the EV community, which is also under the guidance of Pak Peter. And you will listen to those efforts today. And ECCO here, based in Indonesia, would like to participate in these exciting things. And we think that Indonesia is also currently in a wonderful progress towards that. We would like to participate by spreading awareness about electromobility and promoting all the efforts, not only from Indonesia, but by collaborating, for example, here between Indonesia and Poland, two wonderful countries that I got to experience and live in. And we see that here we need to collaborate with the government, with companies, NGOs, individuals everywhere, and especially the youth. We need to establish this network, collaborate, and think of initiatives because it is necessary to fulfill this vision of the greener future by means of promoting electromobility, right? This ECCO seminar will give wonderful insights of this topic from our distinguished speakers. So please tune in, ask them questions, and participate actively in the discussion. We invite youth from all over the country to join ECCO through the ECCO Ambassador Program. In this journey, walk with us because we need all of you here. Whatever your background in education, nationality, race, environment is a concern for everybody because we all live in this country. So let's do this together. Again, thank you so very much for participating in this seminar, and I hope you enjoy it. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Back to you, Icha and Erwin.
Wow, thank you so much for the motivational and amazing speech, Ms. Walisa Tamaya. And now, last but not least, we would like to invite the president of Yayasan Youth ECCO Indonesia, Mr. Iqbal Maulana, to get his speech. The time is yours. And a reminder, everyone, please keep yourself muted throughout the whole webinar. Thank you.
So sorry. Thank you very much, MC, for the chance that is given to me. First of all, good afternoon, everyone, and good morning in Poland. And I would like to welcome everyone to our webinar today. First of all, I would like to say thanks to our guest, our special guest, for delivering a very wonderful remarks at the openings of our event. The first one is to the Minister of Climate and Environment of Poland, who has been really supported for every movement that is created by ECCO. The second one, also very supported to ECCO, the representative of Kujawsko-Pomorskie region in Poland as well. And the last one, the government of West Nusa Tenggara, and in this event is represented by the vice governors of NTB, which is really supported and really welcoming for us to hold this event and willingly to attend our agenda today. It was a very huge appreciation that we got from the governments of West Nusa Tenggara. And I also would like to send a very special thanks to our amazing speaker. There is 3 amazing speakers that will give us a very amazing seminar today. The first one is Mr. Peter Kho, the second one is Mr. Krzysztof Burda, and the third one is Mr. Ahmad Jaya. I think that today's seminar is going to be very special because it will give us a lot of things related to developments in the futures and what we can use as an alternative in the future. And also, I would like to say thanks to all the sponsors and supporting partners for making this event successfully conduct, and especially to the ECCO board, who has been working really hard. This event will not be success without their amazing effort to preparing all things related to this webinar. In this last webinar series of conducted by ECCO Foundations, I believe that this is going to be very interesting and going to be a very special series of seminar, because today we're going to learn about so many things related to how amazing is the developments of sustainable technology, especially electromobility in the world. And not only that, we're also going to see like how it is developed in Indonesia in particular, and how it is actually really close with us, even here in West Nusa Tenggara, for example. I think that there is going to be like very clear portrayals and amazing explanation how this technologies is used, developed, and going to be like a very amazing alternative that we can use in the future. Because we think that since the previous seminar series of ECCO Foundations, we have learned about so many things related to environmental issues, related to the climate change, related to the anomaly that is happening and that is hampering the world. And there must be a question raised. So then what can we do to solve all the problems? What alternative that we can pursue to create a better world? And today we will particularly learn about that. And we can see that, and I believe and personally is that electromobilities and developing technology that is sustainable is a way for us to achieve that bright futures. And I hope in this seminar, in this very special seminars today, you will have like a very clear understandings on electromobility, especially, and also the developments of the development of sustainable technologies that can support us to create a better world. Yeah, lastly, I would like to welcome everyone to today's seminars. To today's seminar, I hope that it's going to be a very enjoyable and very remarkable seminars to create a better world for us in the future. And enjoy the seminar. And thank you everyone for having us. Thank you everyone for participating in ECCO Foundation event. Return it back to MC.
Thank you very much for Mr. Iqbal for officially opening today's webinar. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the welcoming speeches from several speakers that attend our webinar for today. We are highly appreciate their time and also their dedication in supporting our webinar for today. Right now, we actually have reached the main agenda for today. We would like to listen the impressive information regarding the electromobility from all of our speakers. And for the first presentations, will be guided by my friends, Icha. I'll give to Icha.
Thank you so much, Kak Erwin. So now everyone, we have reached the first presentation session. I believe that all of you have been waiting for this, are very excited for this. And welcome to the first session of presentation with our amazing speaker, Mr. Peter Kho. Good morning or good afternoon, Mr. Peter Kho. Before we begin our session, I would like to introduce briefly about your profile to the audiences. So, Mr. Peter, in 2007, was the founder of the electric vehicle community in Indonesia. And then since 2008 has organized many activities, seminars for EV. And then in 2008 to 2011 has become the speaker about electric vehicles in many platforms. In 2013, he participated as the script writer of a documentary film about the EV with Metro TV. In 2019, he initiated Asosiasi Sepeda Listrik Indonesia or ASLI. Since 2020, he becomes a part of the Acceleration EV team in Bali. And then in 2021, he becomes a mediator between Indonesian EV entrepreneur and Taiwan and also South Korea. And under the topic electromobility in Indonesia, Mr. Peter Kho will give his opinion on Indonesian people's awareness about electric vehicles, charging stations, and the technology, like how do they work and stuff. And he will also give his opinion on how to raise further awareness. He will talk about the EV community and how it helps the government to make the current policies on electromobility. Plans and predictions about electromobility in Indonesia's future could also be addressed. The Q&A session will be at the end of Mr. Kho's presentation, but everybody, you are very encouraged to drop your question in the chat box during the presentation, and we will discuss it later in the Q&A session. And without further ado, please welcome Mr. Peter Kho. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Pertama saya mengucapkan terima kasih untuk Menteri Climate Environment dari Poland, lalu untuk Ibu Siti, Wakil Gubernur dari NTB, juga Ibu Walisa dan Pak Iqbal dari ECCO Foundation. Terima kasih untuk acara kesempatan ini, di mana sebenarnya fokus utama dari kemajuan kendaraan listrik di Indonesia itu adalah meningkatkan awareness dari masyarakat. Jadi melalui seminar ini sangat bermanfaat untuk membantu pemerintah secara khususnya. Oke, saya akan mulai presentasinya. Oke, EV for the better future. Kenapa EV sebagai better future? Kita lanjut ke slide berikutnya. Nah, di sini kita bisa lihat ada beberapa negara yang berlomba-lomba untuk mencapai 100% EV. Mulai dari South Korea, itu 2030. Lalu ada juga Spain, dan hingga terakhirnya itu adalah Jerman, 2050. Kenapa mereka ini semua berlomba-lomba menuju 100% EV? Pertanyaannya, kita lanjut ke slide berikutnya. Oke. Nah, ini di background slide itu adalah acara-acara komunitas. Slide berikutnya silakan. Nah, alasan pertama adalah bahwa minyak itu adalah sumber energi yang tidak terbaharui. Jadi Indonesia itu sudah mulai beralih dari tadinya net eksportir, sekarang menjadi net importir. Itu kenapa kita harus beralih pada kendaraan listrik. Karena dengan Indonesia beralih menjadi net importir, berarti anggaran kita tersita banyak sekali untuk mengimpor minyak. Dan ini otomatis membuat ekonomi kita menjadi sangat lambat. Karena semua dana yang kita punya itu terkuras untuk membeli minyak. Lalu ini juga otomatis membuat ekonomi kita menjadi high cost. Setiap kali bensin naik, itu akan sangat berdampak pada semua barang-barang yang kita pakai. Termasuk beras, termasuk pakaian, termasuk apapun. Bahkan juga mempengaruhi biaya yang kita keluarkan untuk transportasi kita sehari-hari. Jadi selain isu dari lingkungan sendiri, sebenarnya kendaraan listrik ini juga sangat berdampak pada isu ekonomi. Jadi kalau kita tidak beralih pada kendaraan listrik, kita bukan hanya merusak lingkungan kita, tapi kita juga harus bersiap pada kebangkrutan negara kita. Jadi makanya pemerintah mulai sekarang sudah berusaha menetapkan bahwa 9 tahun dari sekarang itu Indonesia diusahakan berhenti mengimpor minyak. Bagaimana caranya kita bisa berhenti mengimpor minyak? Yaitu dengan mengurangi kendaraan yang menggunakan minyak. Nah, jadi 9 tahun dari sekarang itu tidak akan lama, waktu yang sangat singkat untuk perubahan sebesar ini. Maka dari itu kita perlu.
Mr. Peter?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for interrupting your presentation, but for today, we would like to, if you want to do the presentation in Bahasa, we would like to translate that.
Okay, so, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, we are going to translate perhaps each sentence or each slide.
Okay.
Thank you. We can.
Maybe you can translate the previous material first.
Okay. Regarding the previous materials that Mr. Peter has talked about, he talked about the focus of EV itself, which is to raise the awareness, because we have the power to actually change the whole thing. And currently, countries are trying to reach the target of EV, which is 100%. And why? It's because currently in Indonesia, we are using the oil, and it is a non-renewable energy, and currently we in the past we are becoming the exporters, but now we are importing, which has affected the economy of Indonesia. So everything, like for example, the raise of the cost of fuel can also result into the high cost or raising cost of daily needs in Indonesia that has affected so many people. You can continue on.
Yeah. Jadi untuk untuk menyelamatkan ekonomi Indonesia tidak ada jalan pilihan lain kecuali kita harus beralih pada kendaraan listrik.
Yeah, so to change or to find the solution, there's no other option than to shift to the electric vehicles.
Oke. Kemudian poin berikutnya silakan. Slide berikutnya, please. Oke. Isu kedua adalah pollution. Pollution sendiri ada dua, air pollution dan noise pollution. Kita mulai dari air pollution sendiri. Ini di background itu ada artikel dari CNBC News. Air pollution membunuh 4.000 orang per hari di China. Lalu silakan.
Now we are talking about the pollution. There are two types of pollution, which is the air pollution and also noise pollution. And there's a news on the background that air pollution has killed 4,000 people in China a day.
Dan bagaimana mereka membunuh manusia melalui penyakit stroke dan kanker paru-paru.
So the pollution made people pass away through the stroke and also the cancer that they suffer from the pollution.
Lalu dari data dari Menteri LKH itu 70% dari polusi di kota itu diproduksi oleh kendaraan.
And based on the data from Kemen LKH, 70% of the pollution itself is produced by the vehicles.
Jadi banyak orang berpikir bahwa polusi itu bukan dari kendaraan, mungkin dari industri, mungkin dari yang lain. Silakan.
So many people thought that the pollution is only coming on corporate level, such as from the industries and stuff, but actually it is coming from our daily usage of vehicles itself.
Ya. Sebetulnya betul diproduksi oleh industri. Tapi industri itu tidak bergerak. Dan karena tidak bergerak, akan sangat mudah untuk ditreatment dengan menanam pohon, segala macam. Tapi dengan kendaraan yang relatif sulit, yang selalu berpindah-pindah, itu akan sulit mentreatment, lebih sulit mentreatment.
Actually, industries do have the pollution, but because they do not move, they stay at a place, it is easier to actually tackle by perhaps planting more trees around the industries and stuff. And compared to the vehicles are always moving, which is harder for us to actually tackle the pollution coming from vehicles.
Dan kita punya satu kasus yang menarik. Mungkin sebelum pandemik bisa dilihat data dari air index, indeks udara di Ubud. Seperti kita tahu di Ubud itu tidak ada industri. Di Ubud itu tidak ada pembangkit. Di Ubud itu tidak ada polusi yang berasal dari produksi. Tapi ada satu yang kita tahu. Di Ubud itu punya populasi kendaraan yang sangat tinggi. Nah, jadi mungkin nanti di translate nanti ya. Jadi dalam satu area itu, dari satu area Pulau Bali, Ubud itu mempunyai polusi tertinggi di Bali. Nah, ini menjadi satu fakta bahwa polusi itu sebetulnya betul-betul diproduce, dihasilkan oleh kendaraan.
Yeah, so one of the case before the pandemic is about the air index in Ubud, where in Ubud there's no like big industries that can contribute to the high pollution. However, Ubud is the highest polluted areas, and this type of pollution is actually resulted from the high population of vehicles that are used in Ubud.
Oke. Mungkin bisa ke slide berikutnya, terima kasih. Lalu yang kedua, mungkin kalau polusi udara itu banyak yang dibahas, banyak yang sudah membahas. Tapi kita lupa, ada juga satu polusi yang cukup berbahaya, yaitu polusi suara. Polusi suara juga bisa membunuh manusia. Menurut data, 50.000 kasus penyakit jantung itu disebabkan oleh polusi suara. Lalu ini juga menyebabkan ratusan jiwa melayang dalam 1 tahun.
So people have, in general, people have talked a lot about the air pollution, but we forgot about the existence of the noise pollution itself. And in fact, noise pollution has contributed to 5,000 heart disease and 1,000 deaths in a year.
Dan penyakit yang disebabkan oleh polusi suara ini adalah penyakit jantung, kesulitan tidur. Kesulitan tidur itu cukup berbahaya karena seperti kita tahu, sel tubuh kita itu akan diperbaharui saat kita tidur. Ketika kita kurang tidur, maka tubuh kita itu akan sebagian besar selnya itu tidak terbaharui dan akhirnya akan menyebabkan penyakit sampingan. Yang ketiga adalah memori kita menjadi lebih lemah. Jadi kita sulit mengingat banyak hal. Yang keempat adalah masalah kejiwaan. Masalah kejiwaan ini juga akan berdampak kepada banyak hal, banyak aktivitas kita sehari-hari. Dan yang terakhir adalah masalah pendengaran.
Okay, so the illnesses that are caused by the noise pollution, the first one is the heart disease. The second one is the sleep disorder, and this is very, very dangerous because when we sleep, our body cells are regenerated, which means that if we lost sleep, there will be like side illnesses because our body cells cannot regenerate. And then the next one is the poor memory, which is very hard for us to remember things, and then psychological problems and also hearing problems.
Jadi dari polusi udara dan polusi suara ini terjadi karena sebetulnya terjadi 1% dari kendaraan. Dari data yang tersedia itu sebenarnya dari 10.000 uang yang kita belanjakan untuk bensin, sebenarnya yang kita dapat hasilkan itu, manfaat yang kita hasilkan itu hanya 3.000. 3.000-nya itu menjadi kinetik yang memindahkan kita melalui kendaraan itu. Tapi pemborosannya berapa persen? Pemborosannya adalah 7.000. Jadi 70% dari uang yang kita keluarkan itu adalah menguap menjadi kalori dan berbagai kejadian inefisien seperti polusi seperti ini.
So the air pollution and noise pollution has come from the vehicles process, and in fact, based on the facts, 10,000 of financial capacity that we spend on fuel actually only has 3,000 benefits, and the 7,000 is on the loss, especially on the pollution and also the calorie of the pollution itself.
Oke. Mungkin bisa ke slide berikutnya. Oke. Sekarang kita bahas tentang berapa besar kesiapan Indonesia untuk kendaraan listrik. Nah, di sini di belakang itu ada background ini ada cerita yang menarik. Seperti kita tahu itu di foto itu adalah Bapak Presiden Jokowi. Dan Bapak Presiden Jokowi itu menggunakan motor yang bukan pakai bensin. Mungkin teman-teman bertanya, ini ada di mana? Ini adalah di satu tempat yang menjadi 100% kendaraan, jadi area yang memiliki 100% kendaraan listrik pertama di dunia. Mungkin ada yang tanya, di mana itu? Apakah di luar negeri atau di mana? Ternyata satu tempat yang menjadi 100% kendaraan listrik pertama di dunia itu adalah di Papua, yaitu di Desa Agat. Jadi dulu itu Desa Agat memiliki krisis BBM. Lalu waktu kita melihat berita itu, saya inisiatif menantang produsen yang ada di komunitas, bagaimana kita membantu teman-teman kita di Agat, khususnya Agat, tapi secara general itu di Papua. Lalu ada beberapa produsen yang pergi ke sana dan mulai mensosialisasikan kendaraan listrik. Dan akhirnya disitulah area yang menjadi 100% EV pertama di dunia.
Okay, so now we are going to talk about Indonesia's readiness in EV. And if you see in the background, that is Indonesia's current president, Mr. Joko Widodo, and he is riding the electric vehicles, which is the motorbike. And he is riding this electric vehicles in the first areas that have 100% EV in this area. And
in the world.
In the world, yeah, in the world. So maybe you're questioning where is it, and maybe you are thinking that it is in big and developed countries, but in fact it is actually located in Papua, in Agat, Papua. And in the past there has been like fuel crisis in Agat, and then Mr. Peter and also his community tried to think about how to help these people in Agat, and then through his programs, there has been like a lot of EV producers come to that area, and also creating many EVs that made Agat as the first 100% EV area in the world.
Oke. Dan mungkin satu lagi perlu saya tambahkan dari cerita ini, bisa teman-teman lihat bahwa kejadian acara ini tuh saat hujan turun deras. Jadi ini juga menjawab pertanyaan, apakah kendaraan listrik itu berbahaya saat dipakai ketika hujan? Jawabannya tidak. Karena ini sebagai bukti bahwa presiden pun tidak saat hujan pun tidak berbahaya, tidak terkena bahaya. Begitu pula dengan kita. Jadi kendaraan listrik itu diproduksi dengan seal yang melindungi berbagai kesisteman di kendaraan listrik. Juga baterai juga terjamin agar tidak berdampak akan akibat air.
Yeah, so other fun fact about this amazing EV that I just learned, this picture or this occasion actually happened during the heavy rain. And maybe some of us are questioning, like, is it questioning, is it dangerous to ride the EV or electric vehicles under the rain? And in fact, it is not, because you can see that Mr. Jokowi himself has rode the EV under the rain. So this type of electric vehicles is actually produced by the seal that can protect the system, and in fact the battery is also produced waterproof.
Ya, oke. Lalu saya akan bahas poin berikutnya. Jadi di Indonesia itu sudah ada mencapai 14 regulasi yang mendukung EV. Mungkin saya bisa mention sebagian supaya tidak terlalu panjang. Yang pertama adalah Perpres 55 tahun 2019. Jadi sejak 2019 Agustus, Indonesia resmi melegalkan kendaraan listrik. Sebelum waktu itu memang kita tidak anak-anak komunitas menggunakannya dengan secara ilegal. Tapi sejak Presiden tanda tangan itu mulai start legal. Itu jadi Perpres 55 2019. Kemudian dilanjutkan dengan ada keturunan-turunan oleh semua pejabat daerah. Salah satunya adalah Pergub DKI nomor 3 tahun 2020. Jadi Pergub DKI tahun 2020 itu membebaskan pajak untuk setiap pembelian kendaraan. Jadi karena ada insentif ini, maka kita dapat membeli kendaraan off-road itu harganya sama dengan on-road.
Yeah, so we will talk about a little bit about the regulations. And the first one is in 2019, Indonesia has legalized the EV, and before it is actually illegal, but then the president has signed, and then it is legalized in 2019. And then there's also a regional governor, which is the Pergub DKI, that actually create the policy of free the tax for these electric vehicles.
Oke. Lalu peraturan berikutnya yang perlu saya ini garis bawahi juga, sudah terbit Permen 65 tahun 2020. Permen ini menjadi payung hukum bahwa siapapun dapat mengkonversi motor bensin mereka menjadi listrik secara legal.
And the other regulation is the Permen number 65 2020 that whoever can actually convert or switch their vehicles from the past to the electric vehicles.
Dan masih banyak lagi regulasi yang mungkin akan terlalu panjang. Tapi kalau teman-teman bergabung dengan komunitas, semua arsip regulasi itu dapat teman-teman peroleh dengan mudah. Lalu selain regulasi juga pemerintah memberikan banyak 5 insentif minimal. 5 insentif itu yang mungkin saya perlu garis bawahi adalah yang pertama yang tadi pembebasan pajak pembelian, dan yang kedua adalah pembebasan parkir khusus untuk kendaraan listrik, bebas parkir. Lalu insentif yang fiskal itu adalah hanya kendaraan listrik yang bisa melewati ganjil genap maksudnya bisa lewat ganjil genap. Kalau kendaraan yang bensin itu kita mesti punya 2 kendaraan, 2 nomor. Tapi kalau kendaraan listrik bebas karena tidak polusi.
So for the incentives, the one that Mr. Peter wants to highlight is the first one is the free tax of purchasing the EV. And then the second one, EV is actually free for parking anywhere. And then the third one is only EV can pass the even and odd days policies that have been applied in certain areas, especially in Jakarta, because EV is free from pollution.
Oke. Dan sekarang mungkin dari teman-teman banyak yang pikir, wah, kendaraan listrik itu identik dengan Tesla. Tapi berapa banyak teman-teman yang berpikir bahwa ternyata di Indonesia itu sudah ada 20 local brands. Nanti saya akan tunjukkan brand yang tersedia dan teman-teman bisa klik, dan teman-teman bahkan bisa lihat tokonya di mana, letaknya di mana, petanya di mana. Dan berikutnya, kita sudah mempunyai 135 charging station. Lalu kita juga memiliki 5 baterai swap system operator.
So now most of us, when we talk about electric vehicles, we actually instantly think about Tesla. But in fact, in Indonesia itself, there has been 20 local brands for electric vehicles, and you can, Mr. Peter can share and show these brands where you can click and find the location, and then the store, and so on and so forth. And then we actually have on 135 charging stations and 5 battery swap system operators.
Oke, saya harus cepat karena sudah diingatkan. Mungkin kita langsung masuk ke website komunitas. Boleh dibantu? Bisa ditampilkan website komunitas. Oke. Mungkin, nah ini website kita. Nanti kalau teman-teman mau lihat produk di Indonesia yang bisa didapatkan oleh kita itu produknya apa saja, bisa klik tombol produk. Nah, ini adalah semua brand kendaraan listrik yang tersedia di Indonesia dan dapat kita beli. Itu banyak sekali. Jadi kendaraan listrik dulu yang sulit diperoleh di Indonesia saat kita pertama mendirikan komunitas, sekarang kita sudah punya banyak pilihan opsi berbagai merek yang bisa kita peroleh di Indonesia. Dan ini mostly local brand.
So when you visit the EV community website, you can actually go to the product button and you can find the product or brand of EV that is available for you to purchase, especially in Indonesia, and for fact that these brands are actually local brand.
Dan jika kita klik salah satu logo itu, nanti akan dapat lokasi tokonya dan bisa diklik, ada tombol Google Map, Anda bisa langsung lihat di mana Anda bisa mendapatkan barang tersebut.
And if you click on each logos, you can actually look at the location and it can direct you directly to the Google Map so that you can find the place to purchase the vehicles.
Selain itu, di Indonesia juga bukan hanya kita bisa beli kendaraan listrik, kita juga bisa menyewa kendaraan listrik. Jadi dengan hanya modal ribuan rupiah, kita bisa transportasi tanpa mengeluarkan bensin, tanpa mengeluarkan uang untuk belanja kendaraan. Itu kita bisa klik bagian rental. Ya, ini bagian rental. Jadi kita bisa klik, nanti di situ biasanya masuk ke apps. Nanti di apps itu kita bisa melihat titik di mana aja kita bisa menyewakan, dan kita bisa lihat tempat tersedia. Jadi sistem rental ini kita tidak perlu mengecas kendaraan. Begitu kendaraannya hampir habis, kita tinggal ganti, tukar dengan unit yang sudah full. Nah, seperti ini contohnya Migo. Kita tukar dengan unit yang sudah full dan kita siap berangkat lagi. Jadi lebih cepat daripada mengisi bensin. Oke, ini saya akan skip biar cepat. Mungkin kembali lagi.
So, in this website or currently, you're not only able to buy, but you can also rent if you want to try to ride the electric vehicles. And if you go to the rental button, you can actually find options of apps that can show you the location. And if the battery of your electric vehicles is low, you do not have to charge it, but you can change it to a full battery.
Oke, mungkin saya perlu skip ini. Mungkin kita klik tombol About. Ya, ini sekilas tentang komunitas kita. Dimulai dari 2007 dan ini gathering pertama kita di Bundaran HI tahun 2007. Fotonya pun masih jadul.
And if you can go to the About button in this website, you can actually find more about EV. And if you can see that in the picture, it is in 2007 at Bundaran HI where EV is gathering together and talk about stuff about the community.
Mungkin ke bawahnya nanti bisa dibaca, teman-teman bisa lihat sendiri karena waktunya tidak cukup. Kemudian saya akan coba tunjukkan tentang acara event. Nah, ini setiap ada acara event itu dimasukkan ke sini, termasuk acara ini. Jadi semua masyarakat yang mau ikut bisa ikut di sini. Dan kita bisa klik complete event. Ini acara yang masa lalu. Jadi kita setiap tahunnya itu menyelenggarakan banyak sekali acara. Tujuannya itu adalah mensosialisasikan kendaraan listrik kepada semua orang. Jadi sekarang total itu komunitas itu memiliki hampir 40.000 anggota dari seluruh Indonesia termasuk sampai ke Papua. Oke, mungkin sampai sini presentasi saya akan tunggu pertanyaan dan yang lainnya, diskusi lainnya. Terima kasih banyak.
Okay, so if you also if you want to know more or join another events that include EV community, you can actually go to the event, and if you go to the next event button, you can find the future event that you can follow. And if you go to the complete event, there has been like so many events that EV has participated in the past, and there has been 40,000 members of EV from all around Indonesia, including Papua. And that's all Mr. Peter Kho's presentation. Now everybody can ask questions. You can drop it in the chat box, and you can also unmute yourself. Thank you so much, Pak Peter, for
Thank you very
the
much.
amazing insight.
Yeah.
And we already have one question from Hendra about the EV. So the question is, for now, the price of EV is higher than ICE vehicle. Also, we cannot find the charging station easily in most of the places. As part of the acceleration team, what is the solution of this problem?
Oke. Solusinya sebenarnya kita sedang yang pertama, kemarin itu baru rapat dengan Kemenkomarves dan dengan satu lagi itu dengan ESDM dan juga KSP. Kita sedang mengusahakan baterai swap. Jadi nanti ke depan teman-teman tidak perlu membeli kendaraan. Ya, jadi teman-teman tidak perlu membeli kendaraan berikut baterai. Jadi teman-teman bisa beli kendaraan tanpa baterai. Yang membuat kendaraan listrik lebih mahal daripada kendaraan bensin itu karena apa? Karena ketika kita membeli kendaraan bensin, kita tidak membeli berikut bensinnya. Jadi baterai kendaraan listrik itu berlaku untuk 2 tahun. Jadi kalau misalnya mau apple to apple, kendaraan bensin pun harus ditambahkan dengan biaya 2 tahun pembelian bensin. Jadi harganya baru bisa sama. Jadi sebenarnya pembelian pertama itu memang lebih mahal. Nah, bagaimana cara mencari solusi untuk men-tackle masalah ini? Yaitu dengan meniadakan biaya baterai. Jadi waktu kita beli kendaraan listrik tanpa baterai, kita akan jadi harganya lebih turun kurang lebih 50%. Dan baterainya itu nanti kita bisa pinjam. Kita bisa tukarkan ke minimarket, bisa tukarkan ke beberapa titik yang sudah tersedia. Jadi ini kita akan usahakan masuk dalam roadmap kendaraan listrik. Itu satu. Terus kedua, tentang masalah charging station. Sebetulnya secara survei dunia itu, seluruh dunia, kebanyakan user kendaraan listrik itu mengisi baterainya di rumah. Dan kendaraan listrik itu memiliki daya tempuh minimal 60 kilo. Jadi kalau misalnya dengan pemakaian sehari-hari itu, mayoritas orang itu memerlukan jarak tempuh 50 kilo. Jadi sebenarnya itu sudah lebih cukup meskipun tanpa charging station. Tapi tetap, walaupun itu sudah cukup, kita akan tetap usahakan memperbanyak charging station di seluruh Indonesia. Itu tentang kendaraan roda 2. Kalau kendaraan roda 4, jarak tempuhnya itu kurang lebih minimal 300 kilo. Sedangkan per hari itu hanya perlu 50 kilo. Jadi sekali charging itu bisa berhari-hari. Jadi kita tidak perlu lagi mencari SPBU. Kita cukup saat tidur kita charge. Dan kendaraan listrik itu baterainya itu tidak harus menunggu sampai habis. Misalnya baru 80 kita bisa isi. 70 kita isi. Jadi kita tidak perlu menunggu sampai habis. Oke, sorry terlalu panjang.
Okay, thank you so much. So for the solution of the question, the first one is EV community has actually conducted meeting with the Ministry of Indonesia to actually create the swap battery that you can buy the car without the battery. So actually the reason why the electric vehicles are very, very expensive is because you buy it with the battery, and if you buy another conventional cars, you buy it without the fuel, right? So the cost is separated within the cars and also the fuel. But for electric vehicles, the cost is higher because you buy the battery. So it is much more expensive at first, but it can be used for 20 years. And then you can actually like change the battery that you can find in market that is that EV community, and also the governor tried to accelerate for the people who want to use the electric vehicles itself. And then about the charging session, most countries or most people are actually charging their cars at home or electric vehicles at home. And with this charging, you can actually use it for 50 kilometers, which means that you will not try to find another SPBU until like 50 kilometers and such. And you can actually charge this electric vehicles at any level of battery. You do not have to like wait it until it is run out of battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, until it runs out of battery, you can charge it at any percentage, 80%, 70% and stuff. Thank you so much for for
Mungkin
that.
kita ditambahkan lagi, dan kita itu mengisi kendaraan listrik itu tidak harus mencari SPBU. Kenapa? Karena yang kita perlukan itu adalah colokan listrik biasa. Jadi sebetulnya semua rumah yang tersedia di kiri kanan kita itu adalah SPBU kita. Termasuk warung Padang, termasuk Starbucks, termasuk rumah kita. Jadi anywhere, you can charge your EV anywhere you want. Yeah, okay.
Wow. So actually with electric vehicles, you do not have to try to find the gas station or electric station. You can actually use any type of plugs anywhere near you. For example, like the houses, your and then the restaurant, warung nasi Padang, for example, and stuff.
Oke. Mungkin ke pertanyaan berikutnya. Sorry.
Okay. So for the next question, we have from Ayu Sekarini, and the question is there any advantages of EV compared to the conventional motorcycle, and is it 100% environmental friendly?
Yes. Jadi seperti yang tadi saya bilang, kendaraan listrik itu mungkin saya bisa kasih analogi seperti ini biar mudah. Kendaraan yang sekarang itu kita berjalan dengan membawa sebuah kompor untuk memasak energi. Jadi bensin dimasukin ke kompor memproses menjadi listrik, baru listrik dipakai. Nah sekarang kendaraan listrik itu kita menggunakan kendaraan tanpa kompor. Jadi benefit pertama itu kita kemana-mana kita minimal jadi lebih ringan karena kita tidak membawa beban berupa kompornya kita tinggal. Itu satu. Yang kedua, proses memasak energi di kendaraan itu lebih inefisien daripada memproses di PLN. Karena PLN itu mass production. Kendaraan itu kita seperti home industry. Kayak kita membeli masak roti di rumah dan masak roti di pabrik. Tentu lebih efisien daripada masak roti di pabrik. Nah, kurang lebih seperti itu. Makanya sampai ada perhitungannya tadi. Jadi waktu kita pakai EV, kita bisa menghemat banyak sekali. Mungkin saya perlu kasih gambaran, untuk mencapai 50 kilo itu kita hanya perlu 2.000 sampai 3.000 rupiah. Compare to petrol. Petrol itu mungkin bisa sampai 20.000 lebih. Jadi kalau Gojek, satu bulan itu perlu kurang lebih sampai 3 juta untuk beli bensin. Dengan kendaraan listrik, dia hanya perlu kurang lebih 1 juta. Atau bisa kurang.
Okay, thank you for the answer. So the analogy of this EV and also other conventional vehicles is that other conventional vehicles are operated with the stove or the tools that can actually process the energy. But with EV, you do not actually have this type of tools, which means that it is lighter for you to actually process the energy in this type of electric vehicles. And now the process within the vehicles is, or the energy process in the vehicle is much more worse compared to the one that is like in PLN, for instance. So for also the cost comparison, with EV, you can you only spend 2,000 to 3,000 rupiah for 50 kilometers. But for the gas or fuel, you actually spend 20,000. So there are so many industries like Gojek, for example, that can save money when they are not using the fuel anymore and switching to electric vehicles.
Oke, karena keterbatasan waktu, mungkin saya perlu memilih pertanyaan. Nanti pertanyaan berikutnya mungkin saya akan jawab saat pembicara lain. Pertanyaan yang perlu saya jawab adalah apakah kendaraan listrik mempengaruhi supply kesiapan kapasitas PLN? Oke, kesiapan PLN sebetulnya dari PLN sendiri sangat siap, apalagi pemerintah mempunyai target meningkatkan kapasitas listrik yang sangat besar. Itu satu. Terus kedua, Indonesia itu lebih siap menggunakan listrik daripada terus bergantung pada minyak. Kenapa? Listrik itu bisa diproduksi dengan berbagai sumber. Pertama, Indonesia itu adalah produksi sawit nomor 1 di dunia. Sawit itu bisa menjadi listrik. Kedua, Indonesia itu memiliki 4 populasi 4 terbesar di dunia. Berarti 4 populasi keempat terbesar di dunia itu memproduksi sampah. Sampah bisa menjadi listrik. Yang ketiga, Indonesia itu memiliki panjang pantai kedua, kalau nggak salah, terpanjang di dunia. Dan itu ombak itu bisa menjadi listrik. Yang keempat, Indonesia berada di bawah Khatulistiwa. Khatulistiwa itu berarti memproduksi listrik dari solar panel. Itu juga kita sangat berlimpah. Yang kelima, kita memiliki potensi geotermal ketiga terbesar di dunia. Geotermal itu panas bumi. Panas bumi bisa menjadi listrik. Jadi di visi misi itu saya dari sejak dulu itu menuliskan jika ada satu negara yang bisa sanggup hidup tanpa minyak adalah Indonesia. Kalau Indonesia saja tidak sanggup, tidak ada satu negara pun di dunia yang bisa hidup tanpa minyak. Terima kasih.
Wow, very great answer. So the question is, what is the effect? Will the usage of electric vehicles affect the PLN supply or electric supply in Indonesia, especially? And Mr. Peter Kho said that yes, Indonesia is very ready to actually be the supplier for electric, and in fact, Indonesia is readier to actually supply for the electric compared to the fuel, because it is easier to have the sources for the electric compared to the fuel. Why? Number one, because in Indonesia we have like large source of coconut oil or virgin coconut oil or the sawit coconut, so it can be the source of electric. Electric. And then the second is we can use the waste that we produce. And then the third one is Indonesia has the second longest sea light that we can actually also use as the source of the electric. And then the fourth is Indonesia is located under the line of Khatulistiwa, which has so many solar panel resources that can also be used for the electric. And then lastly, Indonesia has so many biothermal sources. And Mr. Peter Kho said that Indonesia is the readiest country to actually be able to do it. And if Indonesia is not ready, means that other countries are not ready. But in fact, other countries are ready, which means that Indonesia is very, very, very ready for the supply of these electric vehicles. So thank you very much, Mr. Peter Kho, for the amazing insights. We have learned so much.
Okay.
About it. Yeah, and thank you so much to everyone, to the participants that also have asked the questions. If you have further questions, you can follow it up. You can ask the question in the chat box that we can write down, and we can perhaps answer or publish on our Instagram or our other platforms such as our website. So you are very encouraged to ask more questions about it. So thank you so much for the amazing insight from Mr. Kho, and also the amazing support coming from the participant. Now we have to move to the second presentation. So thank you so much once again. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter Kho, and also the community. Okay. So before moving on, I would also like to remind you guys to fill in the registration form for the committee. You can put the registration link in the chat box so that everybody will not forget to fill the registration form. So without further ado, now we are going to proceed to the second presentation. And for the second presentation with our other amazing speaker, we are going to have it by a recorded video. And yeah, so welcome to the second session with our amazing speaker, which is Mr. Krzysztof Burda. And I would like to introduce a little bit about Mr. Krzysztof Burda. So he graduated from the University of Zielonogora, and he is also the co-founder and CEO of the Polish Chamber of Electromobility Development Association. He is a practitioner in the electromobility industry with a focus on the development of charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. He is the co-creator of the e-mobility now, and under the program, which involves building real electromobility in local government units through a number of bottom-up activities, including education, infrastructure, promotion, and also information. Now, for the second presentation, Mr. Krzysztof Burda will talk about PIRE, its activities, and its role in electromobility development, including its effort to collaborate with Indonesia under the topic Electromobility Development for a Sustainable Future. And Mr. Krzysztof Burda will also give example about companies such as ECCO Energetyka in Poland, which provide EV chargers that we have talked about that have been used all over the EU. And before moving on, I would like to represent Mr. Burda. He is not doing it live because he has a very urgent events that he has to go outside of town, and he is sending deepest apology to everybody here, but he's also very excited to know that everybody wants to learn here. And yeah, based off those things, now we are going to watch the presentation and learn from Mr. Krzysztof Burda.
Hello everyone, I am Krzysztof Burda from the Polish Chamber of Electromobility Development Association. Today, my friend from the PIRE, Marcin Nowak and Justyna Śmiecka-Saniuk and me will show you some information about electromobility in Europe and in Poland. I hope that it will be helpful for you. So first of all, I would like to thank you for the organizers of this great event. It's a great honor to be here today with you and share our knowledge. So let's start. So let's see why electromobility now is a global megatrend. In 2015, EY, it's a Ernst & Young, it's a global consulting company, recognized some megatrends, but in this time, electromobility wasn't on the list of megatrends. They recognized the digital future growth of entrepreneurship and the global market. Urbanization, raw materials and natural resources, and health protection as the most important trends that will determine the development of the world. Megatrends are global forces to affect all the people, and they changing societies, culture, and economy. So important thing at the same year, during the COP21, the Paris Agreement was adopted. In 2018, another consulting company, Deloitte, recognized some new global megatrends. Experts from the Deloitte identified 6 megatrends that will change the face of global economy in following years. So it's Industry 4.0, circular economy, sustainable finance, talent market, silver economy, and electromobility. Now, no one has any doubts that electromobility is the future from the automotive industry. But let's back to the 19th century for a moment. First, how do you think which car was the very first engine or petrol car or electric car? Of course, electric car. I know that it's maybe a surprise for some of you, but electromobility has a strong history. It's over 180 years. So in early part of 19th century, innovators from Hungary, Netherlands, United States, Great Britain began toying with a concept of battery-powered electric engines, vehicles, and cars, and they create some of the first small-scale electric cars. So first electric car was developed around 1832 by Mr. Robert Anderson in Aberdeen in Scotland, picture on the top. But the first working electric car was built by Mr. Thomas Davenport, blacksmith from the Vermont. He was inventor of the first DC electric motor in USA. Early electric cars had the big batteries, short range, but they still was better than petrol cars and cars with a steam engine. So let's jump to steam cars. There you can see how big they were, and steam vehicles need about 45 minutes to start because first of all we have to make some fire and boil the water. They have a limited range, and they wasn't a good solution. On this picture, you can see Mr. Thomas Edison, great inventor from the USA, with his electric car and his company's fleet on the early 20th century. In the US, first successful car was created about 1820 by Mr. William Morrison, a chemist from Iowa. He created something like electrified wagon for 6 passengers with a top speed of 14 miles per hour. It was interesting car, but over next years, electric cars from different automakers began popping up across the US. So in New York City was about 60 electric taxis at this time. By 19, electric cars had their best time, accounting for around a third of all vehicles on the road. There we can see charging stations from this time, and electric car in Berlin, capital of Germany. This electric car was a street sweeper. Unfortunately, petrol lobby and oil lobby was pushed away the electromobility for about 100 years. Let's jump to the nowadays and see what was the global turning point for electromobility. I think this global turning point was a fight for a climate change with Paris Agreement. This agreement was negotiated during COP21 in Paris, in France, on 12 December 2015, and entered into force next year on 2016. Agreement goal is to limit global warming and average temperature rise to 1.5 Celsius degrees compared to the pre-industrial level. Paris Agreement was adopted by 196 parties. Parties are the countries from all of the world. On this symbolic photo, you can see US Secretary of State, Mr. John Kerry, signing Paris Agreement with his daughter to remind to every people the duty of Paris Agreement is to protect the health of future generations. And in Europe, on December 2020, President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, announced a very ambitious plan. By 2050, Europe will be climate neutral as the first continent. And she also presented the European Green Deal as a new program for European Union to achieve the climate goals, and the new climate target plan. The Commission proposes to raise these ambitions, reducing greenhouse gas emissions at least 55% below 1990 levels by 2030. And this year, on July 2021, was presented the Fit for 55 package of terms and regulations to achieve new target goals. And for the electromobility, it's a new regulation of alternative fuel infrastructure. Let's see, what is the Green Deal program? This program was presented and created for reduce the greenhouse gases emission from the economy, from the transport, and from the agriculture and building. So greenhouse gases emissions from transport represent about 25% to 30% of total emissions in Europe. And that's it, why it's so important to accelerate the shift to the sustainable and smart mobility, and reduce the emissions. So let's see why electromobility is important. So first of all, I think electromobility is a proven technology which helps to achieve the climate goals in transport sector and reduce emissions. Electric car also reduce noise emissions. It's very important in the cities where we have big traffic. So let's imagine that this traffic don't produce any noise. It's great for us. Electric cars are also cool. Let's see on this car on the picture. Electric cars have a great torque and design. It's easy to drive EVs because they have no gearbox or have automatic gearbox. Now on the European market is over 77 different electric cars. Car manufacturers like Volvo, Jaguar have committed to produce all electric cars from the 2030. The Ford company in Europe will sell only electric cars from 2026. Some countries plan to ban registration of petrol and diesel cars from 2025 in Norway and 2030 in the United Kingdom. Let's see to this table with EV registration in 2021 in Europe. The leaders of the European market are Germany and France. They are leaders because, for example, in Germany we have a big subsidies for EV drivers who want to buy an electric car. In Poland, we will start new programs, but in Germany, Germany hits the number of 1 million of electric cars, also battery electric cars and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. In Poland, we have only 2,400 registration in this year, but when the program of subsidies will start, I think this number will double. Peer recognized areas of electromobility which create a whole EV ecosystem. We have to think more holistic about electromobility and take more actions to implementing these technologies to reach a climate goals. And we think electromobility, first of all, we have to learn electromobility and reach a public awareness about this technology. The second one, we have to introduce good legislation for development of electromobility and implement the standards from this market, like standards in charging infrastructure and something like this. Next, we think that important thing is to introduce electric buses in public transport because many people in short time could try electromobility and try the benefits from the electromobility. So in Poland, we start a subsidy program. It's called My EV, Mój Elektryk. It's a funding program for individuals, and on this slide you can see that the passenger cars we can buy with refund. We have some limit for a buying of electric car, but when we have a big card, big family card, we have no limits or on a vehicle's price, and we get bigger refund. This program, Mój Elektryk, will also give some subsidies to enterprises, to companies and local authorities. They have more financial opportunities, like they can buy with leasing. They could rent this car, or just a normal buy with cash. And the last one is funding for entrepreneurs and also local authorities. It's for commercial cars like electric vans, and also for motorcycles, scooters. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, you can write to us in any time at bureau@pire.pl. So thank you very much again. Thank you for the organizers, and let's jump to Marcin.
Good morning. My name is Marcin Nowak, and I am the development manager in Polish Chamber of Mobility Development Association. I'm very pleased to participate in today's event. Today I would like to talk about some basic issues related to electromobility. Let me start my presentation. Today I would like to introduce you how an EV is exactly built. The main components it consists of EV are high voltage battery, charging ports, AC, DC, and onboard charger. The same is for the, for example, light duty electric vehicles and many others electric vehicles. We are delaying the same elements such as charging port, AC/DC, onboard charger, and high voltage battery. Before I talk more about infrastructure, I will explain the difference between AC and DC. This will be starting points for further analysis. Exactly what is the AC? What is AC? AC means alternating current, electric current which periodically reverse direction and charge its magnitude constantly with time, in contrast to direct current. What is DC? DC means direct current, one directional flow of electric current. AC charging infrastructure. AC charging infrastructure is slow charging infrastructure. The current from the charging point supply the onboard charger with AC current, which charges the high voltage battery. Power in AC charging infrastructure is up to 22 kilowatts, and charging time is very long, about 6-8 hours. Now, DC charging infrastructure. DC charging infrastructure is fast charging infrastructure. The charging station directly supplies DC current to the high voltage battery without using the onboard charger. And here we have a power up to 350 kilowatts. Charging time with DC charging infrastructure is about 30 minutes. As you can see, AC charging is done through the onboard charger, where DC charger charging bypass onboard charger, and the current goes straight to the battery, straight to the high voltage battery without using onboard charger. Here are examples of AC charging infrastructure where we have devices called wallbox. Those are small devices, usually hard on the wall. There is also a charging point here, which is usually on the ground. You can find them in car parks, for example. DC charging stations are stations that have several connectors. For example, CCS, CHAdeMO. This is one device that allows 2 or 3 EVs to be charged at the same time. Another example is a charging hub, EV charging hub. This is the charging station that has several charging points. For example, 5-10 points where several EVs can be charged at the same time with highest power. I have spoken about charging connectors. The most common connectors that are on the market are the CCS Combo 2 connector and the CHAdeMO connector. You can see it on the picture on the left and right side top. The connectors that you find in EVs depend on the region in which the EV is manufactured. For example, there will be different connector in the EVs manufactured in the US, Europe, or Japan. Currently, the most popular connector is CCS CCS Combo 2. This is a connector that supports charging up to 350 kilowatts. This connector can be found in EVs such as Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW, or Hyundai. The second most popular connector is Shademo. This is the connector used in Japanese EVs, especially Nissan. This connector only supports charging power up to 50 kilowatts. Now I would like to present some new EV models that will be released in 2021 and 2022. Let's start from Nissan Ariya. Nissan Ariya have 275 horsepower. Battery capacity is 63 kilowatts hour and range about 325 kilometers. As you can see, it can be charged with AC and DC current. In AC current, it is 7.4 kilowatts with using Type 2 connector, and with DC 130 kilowatts using CCS. Next one is BMW i4 eDrive. Power about 335 horsepower with battery capacity about 83 kilowatts hour and range more than 400 kilometers. Charging power, of course, with AC and DC. For AC is 11 kilowatts Type 2, and for DC is 200 kilowatt using CCS Combo 2. Toyota ProAce EV. This is the first electric vehicles manufactured from Toyota, and the power of this electric vehicles is 134 horsepower with battery capacity about 50 kilowatts hour and maximum range 180 kilometers. Charging power for AC 7.4 kilowatts Type 2, and for DC CCS Combo 2 with power about 99 kilowatts. Tesla Model S Plaid probably is the more powerful electric vehicle in the market this year or next year, with power 1018 horsepower, battery capacity 19.5 kilowatts hour, and range more than 500 kilometers. Charging power for AC 16.5 kilowatts using Type 2, and for DC 250 kilowatts using a special Tesla connector, supercharger connector. But now in supercharger version 3 is the same what CCS Combo 2. Next one, Lucid Air Pure will have 418 horsepower, battery 85 kilowatts hour, and range more than 500 kilometers. Charging power for AC 22 kilowatts Type 2, and for DC 300 kilowatts using CCS Combo 2. And the last one is a Tesla Cybertruck. Tesla Cybertruck with power 800 horsepower, battery capacity 100 kilowatts hour, and range less than 400 kilometers. Charging power for this car is for AC 11 kilowatts using Type 2, and for DC 250 kilowatts CCS. As you can see, currently the most popular standard is CCS. It worth nothing that the new EVs also have more charging power. That means the infrastructure now should be fast and ultra fast. Let me turn to the electric bus market. There are now more than 500,000 electric buses in the world. Their number is growing all the time. The highest number of electric buses is in Asia, in China, to be precise. And it's over 400,000 units. In Europe, we have over 7,000 electric buses. For comparison, in Poland, there are over 500 of them. Electric buses also have different ways of charging. Although charging takes place only with DC current, it is possible to notice long, slow charging called night charging, which takes place in a depot. Here is an example of the depot in Hamburg, Germany, where electric buses are charged all night so that they can later carry passengers all day. The second method of charging is city charging. This is fast charging with DC current, of course. Charging is done using a special pantograph. This charging takes about 10 minutes. Here is an example of charging an electric bus in Warsaw, Poland, using a pantograph. Now I would like to say a few more words about electric buses. There are several types of electric buses available on the market. They differ in terms of size. We can distinguish class mega buses, length more than 15 meters and 130 seats. As you can see on the picture, this one is really, really long. Next one is a class maxi, length 13 meters and about 100 seats. Next one, class midi. Class midi with length about 10 meters and 70 seats. And the last one, class mini, length about 8 meters and about 40 seats. I would like to talk about trends in electromobility market. According to International Energy Agency reports, the number of EVs worldwide is growing all the time. In 2020, there were more than 10 million EVs. Of course, in this report, there are battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles are taken into account here. The largest number of EV was in China, followed by Europe. The electromobility market forecasts is that in 2030 there will be almost 50 million EVs in the world, which will account for almost 50% of all vehicles. So the number of market are very big. That's all. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please contact me by email. Thank you very much. Now the floor will be taken by Justyna Śmielska-Staniuk, who will talk about our international projects. Thank you.
Selamat pagi. Good morning, everyone. Greetings. I'm very pleased to join this event and be able to say a few words about my organization, Polish Chamber of Electromobility Development. As far as you know, the electromobility is a mega trend, and it has a huge impact on our everyday life, on climate change, on quality of air, and as well as further developing of economy. In my opinion, it opens up many opportunities for young people who are planning further education and looking for a new job, better job, maybe in high technology. So please allow me to share my presentation. We are a non-governmental organization, and our headquarters is located in Poland, in Zielona Góra, Green Mountain. We have office in Warsaw, the Polish capital, as well. Our biggest goal is real electromobility and more electric vehicles on the roads in our cities. How can we achieve that? The question is simple, the answer not so. Basically, we share our knowledge and experience, which we gained in cooperation with such companies in the field of electromobility. For example, Ekoenergetyka Polska. It is a great example of a manufacturer of fast and ultra-fast charging stations. They started 10 years ago, in 2009. Can you believe it? In this time, some guys think about electromobility. We are also, as a chamber, we are implementing and cooperating with international platforms, such, for example, Polish-Indonesian platform, for the exchange of knowledge and experience in e-mobility sector. Moreover, it is very important for us to cooperate with local governments to implement electromobility and national government to unify a policy. That's why we created our original program, Electromobility Now. And it is dedicated particularly to cities. We want to create a vision of cities free of emissions and noise. So the main goals is increasing the number of electric vehicles and building social acceptance and knowledge of electromobility, and also creating appropriate conditions for the development of the mobility sector. It benefits cities participating in the program, because reducing noise in the city is very valuable, improving the quality of life of residents, improving air quality, implementation of educational programs, getting more and more zero-emission vehicles on our roads, and preparing for an infrastructure for future demanding, because the market is still changing. Speaking about education, we see a great need to support the entire educational ecosystem for e-mobility. That's why we created International Academy Driving Change Together, because the labor market is constantly evolving and developing, and the largest global concerns such as Volvo announced a complete shift to the production of electric cars from 2030. The predictable number of new jobs and new skills is about 1 million. 1 million jobs are to be created in this sector in Europe. The question is, where should the new employees gain knowledge in this field from? An international academy driving change together is a kind of platform, knowledge hub, connecting organization in the whole world, in Italy, Chile, I hope in Indonesia, it will be in the future. This activity is inspired by some kind of partnership initiative, which is called Driving Change Together. And that was shaped during the Conference of the Parties, COP24, which has placed in Poland, in Katowice. And without doubt, we can say mobility is the answer for new clean transport, the best solution to achieve the climate goals and way for implementing ambitions of European Green Deal and in the future Fit for 55 reforms. Our valuable partners are Ministry of Environment and Forestry of the Republic of Indonesia, our great friend and partner, as well as Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Embassy of Chile to Poland, Embassy of Italy to Poland. I mentioned about United Nations. No, but United Nations framework conventions for climate change is some kind of ambassador this international academy, as well as Ministry of Climate and Environment. Speaking about networking and international cooperation, because mobility is a global issue, it's a global megatrend. So that's why we should cooperate each other and exchange knowledge, experience to enlarge and to foster the growing of this sector. Our chamber cooperate with such as entities as, for example, Charin, located in Berlin, in Germany. It's the leading global association with over 200 members dedicated to promote the global unique standards for charging. It's based on combined charging systems, CCS. The Martin said before about this system. The main goal is to create a condition and to implement in whole world the same unique standard for future clients and EV owners. We also cooperate with International Energy Agency, located, the headquarters located in Paris. It is agency connecting with electromobility. It's one of these activities of this agency, of course. But we have the same goal, and we want to enlarge numbers of electric vehicles in cities across the Europe and further. I mentioned about the Republic of Indonesia, the great example of warmly cooperation. And do not forget about South America. We have connection with Embassy of Chile and with Portal Mobilidad, who implement and give some knowledge about developing electromobility in South America. We have also partners in Brussels, in headquarters of European Union. Very valuable partnership. Oh, please allow me to say about our new project, European Center for Electromobility, ECE. The institution is to be the most modern and mobility knowledge hub in the European Union. It will also be R&D center and specialized educational school on technical and higher university level, where will be educate young people. Startups from around the world will be able to use our pre-incubator and incubator, and after that could accelerate the best business ideas and solutions related to the entire value of the electromobility supply chain. The center will be equipped with a specialized laboratory for the needs of the incubated companies. Moreover, there will be in our offer investment sites for developing new business, new manufacturers connecting with supply value chain. Now we are at the beginning of the project, and its implementation will end, I think, in end of 2025. On the end, I want to tell you more about our initiative for sustainable transport and reducing the carbon footprint. We are going to take part in an event called MOB Road to COP, which is the zero emission trip to one of the biggest European conference, which is located in Glasgow. I mean COP26. From this place, I warmly invite you to follow our profile on Facebook and LinkedIn as well, where we will show you the entire route and our experience with charging in different types of stations across Europe. We will cover a distance of 10,000 kilometers and we leave a zero carbon footprint. Thank you very much for your attention. Please do not hesitate to contact us when you have any questions about electromobility. Here is my email address, so do not hesitate to email me. And our whole team are passionate about this topic, and we'll be very happy to share our experience. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Okay, so that's the end of the presentation from Mr.
Okay.
Especially from Pire. And despite the urgent event that he has to attend, and now he has given so many information and so knowledge. And for those of you, the participants who want to ask the questions, you can actually go to the link that we have dropped in the chat box, and then we are going to forward it, and later we are going to, the answers of those questions will be published on our online platforms. And a little bit of short brief from the, from the from the previous presentation. So Pire has talked about the history of EV, and finally people are very aware of the importance of switching from the fuel to the more environmental friendly ones, because it is also very beneficial for the environment and also for the economy. And now there has been like global turning point, especially in the European Union, that from the Paris Agreement, with 196 countries participating, having the goals to limit the global warming and also the prevent more of the emission, including the US Department of State, which has shown that we have the duty to actually protect the health of our future generation. And one of the way is through maximizing or accelerating the EV itself. So Pire has also told us about the importance of e-mobility, aside from achieving the goals of the reducing the climate change itself. EV can actually reduce the emission, not only the air, but also noise emission, especially in big cities with so many traffic. And then we have known that electric cars are very becoming the trending topic because electric cars especially have good design and also easy to drive and also less noisy than the other vehicles. And then there has been also like so many subsidies, especially in EU, to be able to make this program succeed. And hopefully in countries, especially Indonesia, we also have more things and we are more driven to be part of this type of changes. It is not only on the governmental level, but also us as the youth to also create the changes. And last but not least, on the international projects, Peter has also shown us that there has been like current policies and also activities, especially on the Driving Changes Together Academy. So if you want to participate and have the chance to actually be involved in this type of activities, you can actually do it through the ECCO Ambassador program. There has been like so many links that you can get. You can learn from so many different organizations and stuff, so that we would really love to see you to participate in the ECCO Ambassador. So everyone, do not forget to register yourself as soon as possible so that you can learn more from ECCO and also from many other great organization and opportunities. So that's all from the second presentation from Mr. Krzysztof. Once again, if you have more, further questions, you can go to the Google form and we will answer the discussions. We will forward it to be answered. And without further ado, I'm going to welcome Kak Erwin to guide the third presentation. The time and place are yours, Kak Erwin.
Thank you very much, Icha, for moderating the speaker sessions, especially for the second ones. And we move into the next presentations. It will be delivered by Bapak Ahmad Jaya. Prior to delivering his speech, I would like to introduce you guys into Pak Ahmad Jaya, Mr. Ahmad Jaya. Mr. Ahmad Jaya is a permanent lecturer at Universitas Teknologi Sumbawa. He graduated from Universitas Udayana in Bali. He also as a director of both Komunitas Olat Maras Sumbawa and also PT Olat Maras Teknologi. His expertise is in electricity installations that is proven from several of his research, focusing also on alternative energies. For example, in 2017, he's doing research on alternative fuel for biomass power plant, and also in 2019 to 2021, developing biomass power plant boiler system using corn, cob, and etc. And Pak Jaya today will present his speech in terms of electric vehicle, especially or specifically in West Nusa Tenggara, in West Nusa Tenggara. And as for Pak Jaya will present his speech in Bahasa, again, I would like to remind the participant, I will be one of the interpreter to assist from translating Pak Jaya presentation from Bahasa into English. And if you are having a questions during the speech from Pak Jaya, you can mention your name and also your questions in the chat box, and I can help you to interpret the questions if it is in Bahasa, if it is in English, or vice versa. And also maybe Pak Jaya will also deliver direct answer the questions from the chat box. Mungkin itu saja dari pengantar dari saya, Bapak. Kami persilahkan untuk presentasi.
Oke, terima kasih. Selamat sore, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang saya hormati para peserta webinar sore hari ini, saya akan mempresentasikan kendaraan listrik dengan judul Preparing for the Age of Electromobility to Achieve Sustainability future. Next. Oke, ini
Excuse me, mohon maaf Pak Jaya, mungkin nanti disampaikan per slide, selesai slide-nya nanti saya akan berusaha menerjemahkan ke bahasa Inggris agar lebih mudah terlihat. Terima kasih Bapak.
siap. Thank you. Sejarah kendaraan listrik tahun 1800-an mulai masa kemasan kendaraan listrik sampai tahun 1900. Tapi masih menggunakan baterai lead acid. Sedangkan tahun 1920 market didominasi dengan kendaraan berbahan bakar fosil. Jadi kendaraan sudah berkendaraan bahan bakar fosil sudah menempuh jarak sudah cukup jauh dan tenaga yang cukup besar. Oke, tahun 2017 mulai konsen lagi ke kendaraan listrik, tetapi didasari dengan isu lingkungan. Jadi 2017 ini mulai memperhatikan lingkungan, isu-isu lingkungan, makanya ketertarikan kembali ke kendaraan listrik. Oke. Next.
Okay, for the history for electric vehicles in the late 18th and until the early 19th, that is the golden period of the electric vehicles. But it means powered by lead acid battery, and then in 1920 the market committed again from IC vehicles, combustion engine vehicles. Then on 2017 that electric vehicles got its place. It is derived from the economical environmental issues, therefore it raised on 2017.
Oke, apa itu kendaraan listrik? Jadi sepeda listrik atau disebut juga e-bike adalah sepeda pedal dibantu oleh motor. Jadi di sini sepeda konvensional biasa, tapi dibantu dengan oleh motor. Jadi di sini sama seperti sepeda pedal konvensional, tetapi terdapat baterai yang bisa diisi ulang dan dilengkapi dengan motor. Di sini bisa dibantu mengurangi tekanan kayuhnya. Jadi kendaraan listrik ini bisa dibantu dengan motor. Jadi untuk mengayuh kendaraan ini bisa tidak terlalu menggunakan tekanan mengayuh. Sedangkan berikutnya, pengendara sepeda dapat memilih untuk menggunakan baterai, yang berarti bahwa ketika pengendara sepeda mengayuh, motor mulai berfungsi. Jadi di sepeda ini, satu sepeda ada dua tenaga yang bisa digunakan di sini. Yang pertama tadi bisa sepeda sendiri, yang kedua adalah dengan bantuan motor. Oke.
Okay, what is an electric bike? Electric bike is a pedal bike assisted with motors. It is used recharge battery to reduce pressure on pedaling. Normally, you can choose to use either battery or pedal itself, because electric bike consists of power. It is conventional bike and also motor. So when you can always choose those kind of things. Next.
Oke, tipe dari kendaraan sepeda listrik. Jadi e-bike secara kasar dapat dikelompokkan menjadi dua jenis utama berdasarkan lokasi motornya. Motor hub terletak di roda menggantikan hub biasa, sedangkan sepeda listrik mid drive memiliki motor yang terletak di rangka. Jadi ada dua tadi. Yang pertama ada di di rodanya, yang kedua itu ada di bodinya. Lanjut, desain mid drive memiliki keuntungan menggunakan drive train standar sepeda yang memungkinkannya menggunakan gigi apapun yang ada di sepeda. Jadi ada dua jenis di sini, ada yang tunggal gigi dan ada yang tidak tunggal. Saya lanjut, motor hub depan jauh lebih mudah dipasang. Tadi hub ini bisa dipasang di belakang, roda belakang dan roda depan. Sedangkan motor hub belakang dapat menangani opsi yang lebih tinggi. Baik, Saya jelaskan sedikit di sini ada beberapa perbedaan antara hub depan dan hub belakang. Jadi hub belakang bisa mengatur kecepatan pengguna di sini tidak terlalu berisiko kalau menggunakan hub belakang. Sedangkan hub depan apabila menggunakan kecepatan yang tinggi bisa menyebabkan oleng seperti itu. Jadi disarankan apabila kecepatan tinggi kita menggunakan hub belakang saja. Oke. Next.
Okay, there are two types of e-bikes. We have it depends on the location of the motor. If the location of the motor is in the mid frame or in the body of the bike itself, it is good for the design because it has a standard benefits that you can always switch the gears, either it is single or multiple gears. And also the second types of e-bikes is installed in the hub. It is also divided into two, in the rear hub and then in the front hub. If you are using a rear hub, it is good, or the benefit is good for having a fast speed. But if the motor is on the front hub, it is dangerous for us to use it in high speed because it is going to be unstable. Further definition you can read from the slide.
Oke. Pedal assist dan throttle mode. Jadi di sini pada sepeda listrik ada menggunakan mode pedal assist dan throttle. Jadi pedal assist mode juga disebut sebagai pedalage, memungkinkan motor diaktifkan hanya dengan mengayu pedal. Jadi pedal assist ini posisinya adalah tentunya di pedal. Jadi ketika di kayu ini, ketika menggunakan mode pedal assist, di sini akan menambah tenaga. Jadi tidak terlalu berat penggunaannya. Sedangkan throttle assist adalah mode throttle assist berarti e-bike beroperasi mirip dengan sepeda motor atau skuter. Ketika Anda menekan throttle maka aktif. Jadi sama seperti kendaraan-kendaraan listrik. Jadi ketika ditarik gasnya maka ini akan melaju. Banyak e-bike yang lebih baru menawarkan ada kedua-duanya di sini, ada menggunakan pedal assist dan throttler. Jadi aplikasinya ketika sepeda digunakan menggunakan pedal assist juga bisa kencang. Ketika tidak menggunakan pedal assist bisa ditarik dengan menggunakan mode throttle ini. Oke. Next.
Okay, there are two types of electric bike. First is pedal assist and also throttle mode. If you are using pedal assist, the place of the motor is on the pedal, so all you need to do is only to activate only through your pedaling. And also if you are using throttle assist modes, it is similar to motorbike. So you just open the throttle and then it will work just like a motorbike. And the latest e-bikes or electronic bike are offering both throttle and also pedal assist. So you can always switch into both pedal assist and also both throttle.
Lanjut. Di Inggris, Skotlandia, dan Wales, pengendara berusia 14 tahun ke atas boleh mengendarai sepeda listrik selama memenuhi persyaratan tertentu. Lisensi tidak diperlukan untuk mengendarainya dan sepeda listrik tidak perlu didaftarkan, dikenakan pajak atau diasuransikan. Ini di beberapa negara di Eropa. Jadi digunakannya masih bebas untuk berusia 14 tahun ke atas. Tapi di Irlandia Utara, di mana pengendara sepeda yang ingin mengendarai sepeda listrik harus memiliki lisensi dan mendaftar, dikenakan pajak dan mengasuransikan sepeda mereka. Ini di dua negara, di beberapa negara ada perbedaan ya. Jadi ada yang bebas dan ada yang tidak bebas. Di Eropa telah mengusulkan amandemen petunjuk asuransi motor sehingga siapapun yang memiliki sepeda listrik pada akhirnya dapat bersepeda secara ilegal kecuali mereka memiliki asuransi pihak ketiga atau 3 negara di mana pemerintah akan bayar jika pengendara terlibat dalam tabrakan. Oke, ini di beberapa negara. Kita berbicara di khususnya di NTB sendiri untuk saat ini kami masih bebas menggunakan sepeda, tetapi juga ada aturannya, nanti akan dijelaskan juga. Ada aturan yang mengikat terkait dengan sepeda ini, sepeda listrik. Jadi ada peraturan gubernur yang sudah dibuat oleh pemerintah Provinsi NTB. Oke, next.
Okay, for the law about the e-bike, if you see from the England, Scotland, and also Wales, under cyclists under 14s, there is no such requirement for that. But as long as even though the license is not required, compared to in Northern Islands, cyclists wishing to ride an electric bike must have a mod license and also register tax. In general, in the European Union, have proposed the amendment also for motor insurance directive. So when you have, or when you get an accident or involved in a collision, you have to pay for the government and etc. Specifically for the government in West Nusa Tenggara, there is strict regulations that control the implementation of the electronic bike, which will be explained in the further session. Next.
Okay, next.
Next, Mbak Nay.
Ya, oke. Jadi di Eropa sepeda listrik menyediakan bantuan listrik hanya ketika pengendara capek saat mengayuh. Jadi termasuk di Indonesia juga sebenarnya ketika kita capek mengayuh sepeda ini baru kita menggunakan bantuan elektrik. Jadi tadi di sini ada dua mode yang bisa dipakai, yaitu mode kayu betul-betul dipakai untuk olahraga, dan kedua ketika pengendara capek bisa menggunakan mode listrik. Jadi sebagian besar sepeda listrik datang dalam bentuk pedal assist yang memantau input pengendara dan membantu mereka sebanyak mungkin untuk mengayuh. Sepeda listrik dapat berupa gear bergigi atau gear tunggal. Tadi ketika gear bergigi ini tadi tentunya bisa mempermudah si pengendara. Jadi membuat ringan pengendara, membuat gampang pengendara tidak terlalu capek. Nah, itu mode bisa digunakan untuk sarana olahraga. Tapi ketika kita membutuhkan kecepatan, sudah capek, baru menggunakan mode elektriknya. Jadi sepeda listrik ini juga dilengkapi dengan baterai yang dapat diisi ulang. Jadi ketika habis, sepeda ini bisa diisi ulang. Tentunya dengan menggunakan daya PLN. Dan ini juga tadi sudah disampaikan pada yang pertama tadi, pemateri pertama, jadi ini juga bisa tidak tergantung dengan SPBU, bisa di mana saja untuk pengisian ulangnya. Jadi numpang sebentar di mana itu bisa sambil ngecas gitu. Jadi sepeda listrik dimungkinkan memiliki rem cakram, jadi di sini harus menggunakan cakram hidrolik karena kecepatannya yang sudah terlalu tinggi. Jadi untuk keamanan pengendara diharapkan menggunakan cakram hidrolik. Baik. Next.
Okay. Actually, how does electric bike works in Europe? Normally, they are using pedals and also motors. When the rider using pedals, mostly or mainly they use it for sports. But when they are tired, they mostly use their motor and also to get the speeds. And the bike also use a core gears. Core gears means one gears to ease the riders when they are tired of having pedals after they are doing their sports. Then they can use their motors. And also this electronic bike use a recharge battery, as also mentioned in the previous speakers. They stated that the electronic bikes can be charged anywhere at any time, so you can take a rest for a while, and then you can charge your battery either at home or at other places. Next.
Okay, next. Jadi lanjut. kenapa sepeda listrik ini adalah yang pertama tadi ramah lingkungan. Jadi diciptakannya sepeda ini untuk menangani isu lingkungan. Jadi kendaraan listrik ini sudah dijelaskan di komentari sebelumnya adalah untuk menepis isu lingkungan yang semakin lama semakin mengkhawatirkan, termasuk penggunaan fuelnya yang menggunakan energi fosil, tetapi kendaraan listrik ini, sepeda listrik ini adalah sudah kendaraan yang sangat ramah lingkungan. Jadi menggunakan energi baru terbarukan sangat bisa gitu. Oke, sepeda listrik dapat mungkin orang-orang dengan berketerbatasan fisik, orang dewasa yang lebih tua, orang yang tinggal di daerah perbukitan untuk mempermudah dalam bersepeda. Jadi orang-orang yang keterbatasan fisik yang mungkin dalam keadaan sakit, lemah dan lain sebagainya juga menggunakan sepeda listrik ini sangat mudah sekali. Termasuk orang dewasa yang sudah tua apabila ingin berkendara listrik sangat mudah sekali. Lanjut, sebuah penelitian bertujuan untuk mengetahui apakah sepeda listrik dapat meningkatkan kesehatan dengan cara yang sama seperti sepeda konvensional yang bergantung pada durasi perjalanan. Universitas juga masih melakukan studi di sini untuk meningkatkan sama dengan menggunakan sepeda biasa, apa perbedaannya dengan menggunakan kendaraan listrik, ya, seperti itu. Ini masih dalam tahap penelitian bagi kami di kampus. Oke, next.
Okay, the benefits of using electric bike first and become the most major focus is that because of the green energy and eco-friendly, because most the time being the use of fuel is so massive, and then the numbers of the people should become reduced, and also electric bikes can also help to assist those disabled persons to use the electronic bike, for example, if they want to have some little sport, and also when they have a problem with their physicals, so they can use the electronic bikes. And also there is a study that aims to establish or to compare whether or not the conventional bike and electric bike has the same effect in terms of health to the person itself, depending on the duration or the journey that used during the use of the electronic bike itself. This research has still ongoing, and the research is still working on finding out whether or not both has the same effect or different effect. Next, please.
Oke, jadi masih penghantar ini. Jadi beberapa penelitian telah menunjukkan bahwa sepeda listrik menghasilkan kecepatan yang lebih tinggi, khususnya kecepatan rata-rata yang lebih tinggi, tetapi kecepatan maksimum biasanya lebih rendah dari 20 mph. Jadi telah dilakukan penelitian oleh beberapa peneliti. Jadi memang terbukti untuk pengendara sepeda listrik ini bisa melebihi dari kecepatan sepeda. Jadi ada beberapa keuntungan di sini untuk terkait dengan kecepatan. Berikutnya, sepeda listrik memiliki potensi, sepeda listrik memiliki potensi untuk mengatasi beberapa hambatan bersepeda seperti jarak yang jauh, perbukitan, kapasitas kargo yang terbatas, dan tentunya fisik bersepeda. Saya cepat-cepat saja, ini masih banyak. Alasan persepsi negatif adalah kekhawatiran tentang reaksi perjalanan kaki terhadap sepeda listrik. Ini mungkin menyoroti pentingnya fasilitas bersama termasuk jalur dan trotoar bagi pengendara sepeda. Dan alhamdulillah di NTB, khususnya di Mataram, sudah ada jalur yang khusus untuk pengendara sepeda. Jadi ada jalur khusus untuk di Mataram sendiri. Oke, next.
Okay, several studies have shown that the athletes, if the electric bicycle have higher speeds, but in conventional bikes, they also have a maximum speed, usually lower than 20 mph. For electric bicycles, the challenge is that whether or not the pedestrian also have in relations have their own path, or this may highlight the importance of sharing facility. For example, in Mataram, they have their own route for the bike itself, and also for pedestrian, they have their own route, and also for the motorbike itself. And then also electric bicycle have the potential to address the same barrier to bicycling. For example, when you are sick, you can always use the electronic bike, and also if you are in the hill, for example, it is easy to use the electric bike itself. Next.
Oke, jadi perubahan peraturan yang mungkin diperlukan untuk mengakomodasi sepeda listrik harus mempertahankan karakteristik yang melekat pada sepeda sebagai perangkat bertenaga manusia. Jadi harapannya tetap kami sebagai perakit sepeda tetap mempertahankan model sepeda yang kita buat di sini. Jadi tidak merubah model dari sepedanya. Berikutnya, sepeda listrik adalah bagian penting dari masa depan di mana setiap orang mengetahui dan menikmati banyak manfaat dari bersepeda. Tadi bisa diketahui untuk bersepeda ini sama dengan kita berolahraga, sama dengan olahraga yang lain juga, namanya olahraga. Jadi bersepeda ini sangat dianjurkan juga karena untuk olahraga. Ini adalah teknologi yang menarik untuk membuat sepeda lebih baik sehingga lebih banyak orang dapat mengendarai sepeda dalam lebih banyak kondisi. Next.
The changes of the legislative or regulatory should concern on the characteristic of the bike itself. As the practitioner, the regulation should maintain the model of the bikes that the main power is that from the human itself, and also the benefits of bicycle as mentioned before. It is good for sport, and the regulation also can create a better bike. As a practitioner, we can make a better bike for the use or the benefits for the most people.
Oke, next. Sepeda listrik ini merupakan salah satu inovasi Universitas Teknologi Sumbawa untuk menyediakan transportasi yang ramah lingkungan. Jadi bisa dilihat di sini adalah gambar bagian dari sepeda listrik kami. Dari ini adalah inovasi dari Universitas Teknologi Sumbawa di kampus kami. Oke, next.
Okay, this is the model of e-bike that developed in Universitas Teknologi Sumbawa, University of Technology, to provide an eco-friendly transportation. As you can see, the model here, the electric bicycle is one of the innovations that made by Pak Jaya and also their team.
Next. Oke, fitur-fitur dari sepeda listrik kami. Jadi di sini ada saya dari top speed-nya dulu. Jadi top speed dari sepeda ini bisa sampai 50 km per jam, jarak tempuh sampai 30 km, maksimal power 1,5 kW, baterai menggunakan baterai lithium 48 volt 16 Ah. Jadi LED display adalah menggunakan SW900 mono. Jadi di sini bisa kita lihat ada pedal, motor, box baterai, LED display, LED lampu, dan brake. Dan tentunya ada kunci kontak dan throttler. Okay, next.
Okay, Pak Jaya is explaining here is the specification of the features, the electric bike that developed itself. So you can see there are top speed, riding range, max power, the battery, and also the LED display. Next.
Fitur yang di tangan, jadi ada assist, tombol start, down assist button, lampu untuk lampu sein dan lain sebagainya. Jadi displaynya ada beberapa display yang bisa dibaca, ada baterai indikator, speed indikator, assist mode indikator, dan error indikator. Next.
Okay, this is the hand features that you can find in the electronic bikes of outputs. They also have the indicator. There are several specifications that you can see from the slide. Next.
Baik, jadi untuk produksi sepeda listrik ngebut ini workshop kami bekerja sama dengan IKM. Jadi pembuatannya masih handmade manual. Seperti ini. Ya, next.
So this is the workshop located in Bawah Dalam near Sumbawa that they are collaborate also with the small industry. As you can see here, Pak Jaya with the production of the electronic bikes. Okay, next.
Untuk produksi sampai sekarang kami telah memproduksi sebanyak 3 tipe. jadi tipenya baru 3 dan jumlah produksi sampai saat ini sudah 130-an lebih unit. Jadi di beberapa TV atau varian disesuaikan dengan kondisi pengendara. Jadi kita tawarkan termasuk penggunaan bagi perempuan, ladies, dan ini ada beberapa tipe yang disesuaikan dengan peminatnya. Okay, next.
So until now they have 2 types, and also they produce 130 units, and also the bike can also be modified. It depends on the condition of the rider. So if the rider wants to buy, they also can have a requested modifications for Pak Jaya. Next.
Okay, next. Ini launching 17 unit ngeboots pada tahun 2020 kemarin. Kami serahkan ke Provinsi Nusa Tenggara Barat dan sekarang digunakan oleh polisi Pol PP. Next.
Last year on 17 August 2020, Pak Jaya and his team delivering 17 units of electric bicycle to be used by the Civil Service Police Unit in West Nusa Tenggara Province.
Okay. Baik, salah satu dari 5 tipe yang kami inikan tadi produksi, ada 1 tipe yang sudah kami daftarkan untuk mendapat sertifikat uji layak di Dinas Perhubungan NTB pada tahun 2020 kemarin, dan tipe ini akan dimasukkan dalam e-katalog pemerintah Provinsi Nusa Tenggara Barat dan bisa dipesan oleh dinas-dinas yang ada di provinsi ini masuk ke dalam e-katalog karena sudah di sertifikat. Oke, next.
Okay, ngeboots e-bike type Gemilang had been certified by the Department of Transportation of West Nusa Tenggara exactly on 17 December 2020. So this type can be a model that input in the e-catalog of the local government of West Nusa Tenggara, and this unit can be ordered by several divisions of the local government in West Nusa Tenggara Province. Next.
Ya, ini dokumentasi, implementasi penggunaan. Jadi penggunaannya bisa seperti ini. Ini memang kemarin digunakan oleh polisi Pamung Praja Nusa Tenggara Barat. Jadi sampai sekarang masih digunakan apabila ada patroli-patroli seperti itu. Dan di tempat lain juga pemerintah Provinsi NTB sudah memesan yang sebanyak 100 ini. Jadi di dinas lain sudah menggunakan juga kendaraan kita ini. Okay, next.
So here's the picture of the use of electronic bikes made by Pak Jaya from the Civil Service Police Units in West Nusa Tenggara Province, and also there is a 100 order from the divisions of the local government in West Nusa Tenggara Province. Okay.
Next. Okay, thank you. Itu dari presentasi dari kami tim Ngeboots Universitas Teknologi Sumbawa. Jadi saat ini kami juga masih memproduksi, tetap jalan untuk produksi sepeda listrik Ngeboots. Baik, terima kasih. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, well, actually, for the time being, Pak Jaya is still developing the roadmap for creating or producing the electronic bikes for several orders. Baik Pak Jaya, ada beberapa pertanyaan yang mungkin ada di kolom chat. Mungkin Bapak Jaya bisa, saya akan bacakan ke bahasa Inggris, nanti mungkin Bapak Jaya bisa langsung memberikan respon, nanti agak selanjutnya saya bisa terjemahkan ke bahasa Inggris. Terima kasih.
Yang mana ini dulu ya?
Oke, dari Tasya Ramadan. Mungkin bentar. Oke. Dari Niko.
Oh ya. Dari Niko yang pertama ini, apakah dari institusi Bapak juga menjual produk sepeda listrik ini? Kalau iya, di manakah bisa kami mendapatkan? Seharusnya berapa? Baik, memang saat ini kami juga sebenarnya kami lagi memproduksi pesanan-pesanan dari pemerintah Provinsi NTB. Untuk mungkin pesanan pribadi nanti juga bisa kami layani, cuman memang saat ini tim masih fokus di pelayanan pemesanan pemerintah. Jadi bisa hubungi kami nanti di nomor ini, ada nanti juga kalau memang betul-betul ingin menanyakan spesifikasi lebih jelas lagi, kami juga sudah membuat semacam brosur dan lain sebagainya. Oke.
Okay, the question from ECCO, does Pak Jaya also solve the electronic bike? If yes, where can they get a electronic bike, and also how much the price for each bike? Pak Jaya then responds that for the time being, Pak Jaya and his team focusing on the productions for the order from the local governments, especially for several units in the province of West Nusa Tenggara. And also, Pak Jaya open for individual order. If you wish to order the electronic bike, you can also contact Pak Jaya from the slide. It mentions the phone number and also the email for Pak Jaya. Next question. Selanjutnya
dari Tasa Ramadhani. Baik, jadi kalau secara spesifikasi, karena kami juga alat-alatnya ini bukan produksi kami juga beli, termasuk ada beberapa part yang dari luar negeri juga. Jadi mungkin kelebihan yang bisa menonjol dari pabrikan adalah, pertama, kami menawarkan model yang bisa disesuaikan dengan keinginan si pengendara, termasuk tinggi, panjang, dan lain sebagainya. Mungkin ada model-model tertentu yang diinginkan oleh pembeli, oleh pelanggan, kami bisa sesuaikan gitu. Kalau secara partnya, materialnya mungkin sama saja dengan pabrikan, karena kami terus terang masih membelinya di luar daerah seperti itu.
Okay, the question from Tasya Ramadhani. What is the benefits of ngeboots e-bike that produced by Pak Jaya? Well, the answer from Pak Jaya is that they also buy the several parts from roads, also from other regions. But the benefits that are offered by electronic bike ngeboots is that it has a modified model that can be requested by the customer. So you can modify the height, also the specific parts that depends on your needs. That is also the answer from Pak Jaya. Thank you.
Harga masih berkisar antara 15 juta sampai 20 juta. Ini harga di tempat kami. Kalau mungkin pengiriman ke tempat lain disesuaikan. Jadi harga produksi di kami berkisar antara 15 juta sampai 20 juta. Dan ada tadi kelewat, benar sekali sepeda yang kami produksi ini yang digunakan oleh Pak Gubernur dan Pak Sandiaga Uno kemarin pada saat di Mataram. Oke.
Okay, for the price of the electronic bike, it's range 15 to 20 million rupiah, and also for the delivery order, it depends on the locations of the customers, and also this bike also used by that, and the ngeboots electronic bike that is used by the governor of West Nusa Tenggara and also Pak Sandiaga Uno, that the same price is at the same model, and also exactly the price is also between 15 to 20 million, as you can see from the previous slide. Thank you. Maybe additional questions?
Ada pertanyaan lagi?
Oh ya, dari
ada waktu?
Oke. Ya Pak, silakan masih.
Ya.
Berikan 10 menit lagi.
Oke, baik. Mungkin ini pertanyaan titipan dari Pak Bisma mungkin ini ya. Ini saya jawab mungkin sebagai kapasitas sebagai dosen juga mungkin di sini karena ini. Jadi begini Pak, untuk kendaraan listrik ini. Jadi kendaraan listrik untuk yang kami tawarkan ini untuk kedepannya kendaraan listrik. Jadi di sini dikurangkan atau mengurangi penggunaan fosilnya. Memang kalau ketika jadi perbincangan di kami ini, ketika masih menggunakan tenaga PLN sama saja katanya menggunakan tenaga fosil. Baik, di sini bisa menggunakan tenaga fosil sama saja. Tetapi kami di sini untuk kedepannya, apabila ini sudah elektrik, beda dengan penggunaan fuel langsung menggunakan fuel. Kalau bahasanya Pak yang pertama tadi Pak siapa itu kayak kompor di situ, kalau kendaraan listrik menggunakan kompor, misalnya membawa kompor seperti itu, tetapi kendaraan listrik kedepannya nanti bisa menggunakan ini energi baru terbarukan, jadi tidak membawa kompor lagi, bisa energi yang digunakan oleh kendaraan listrik ini bisa digunakan dari beberapa energi baru terbarukan, termasuk Indonesia tadi yang kaya dengan energi mataharinya. Jadi diharapkan di beberapa tempat sudah menyediakan SPBU yang menggunakan tenaga matahari. Tetapi ketika kendaraan sekarang belum menggunakan tenaga matahari, masih menggunakan fuel, itu yang dikhawatirkan penggunaan fuel di sini akan menjadi mengeluarkan emisi yang sangat banyak sekali. Tetapi ketika menggunakan listrik ini karena kendaraan listrik di sini adalah hemat energi untuk penggunaannya. Emisi, tidak mengeluarkan emisi, jadi tidak mencemari lingkungan. Tapi penggunaan PLN memang kami akui karena ini masih menjadi perdebatan. Kalau ketika kami masih cok dengan menggunakan PLN, masih juga menggunakan fosil, oke, tapi kedepannya diharapkan kendaraan listrik kami bisa menggunakan energi baru terbarukan, salah satunya adalah menggunakan energi matahari. Oke, semoga bisa tercerahkan ini.
Okay, there is one question from Pak Bisma that relate to electric bike is actually spending more emissions compared to the conventional bike. The response from Pak Jaya is that the analogy is the same, just like Pak Peter Kho's statement that if conventional bike using stove, then the electronic bike using the renewable energy. So in Indonesia, for example, there is an alternative, a solar energy. So in the future, Pak Jaya hope that there is a solar energy stations to be established as the powers for the electronic bikes. But actually, the problem is that when the use of PLN, like electronic company that use in Indonesia that also using fuel, that is also the same. This based on the article that also is debatable, but for further, Indonesia can implement the renewable energy for charging, for powering the electronic bike itself. That's the response from Pak Jaya. Any questions, further questions, maybe for the participant, you can put on your chat box.
Mungkin bisa juga di pertanyaan ini ditanyakan ke pemateri kedua, mungkin yang konsen sudah di luar negeri, seperti apa mungkin Mas Erwin, kalau bisa, biar kita juga sama-sama belajar di sini.
Oke, mohon maaf untuk Bapak Krzysztof Burda memberikan evaluasi terakhir. Kami diinfokan di menit terakhir bahwasanya Bapak Krzysztof Burda ditugaskan ke luar daerah karena ada suatu dan lain hal, jadi karena kendala koneksi, jadi mereka mengirimkan video dengan timnya yang dipilih Bapak. Jadi nanti pertanyaannya seperti yang kami sampaikan tadi, akan di follow up beberapa pertanyaan, respon sudah kami berikan link Google Form untuk kami akomodir untuk diberikan pertanyaan, nanti kemudian jawabannya dapat kami berikan melalui website ECCO Foundation. Begitu Pak. Excuse me, Bapak Jaya mungkin sudah bisa memberikan kesimpulan atau mungkin ada hal-hal lain yang disampaikan sebelum kita acara. Ini ada.
Oke, baik, terima kasih. Jadi penutup dari saya. Jadi karena memang fokus kami di Ngebut ini adalah memproduksi kendaraan sepeda listrik untuk menunjang program pemerintah Provinsi Nusa Tenggara Barat industrialisasi. Jadi kami dan tim saat ini memproduksi kendaraan listrik untuk pemesanan dan lain sebagainya, silakan bisa menghubungi kami di Universitas Teknologi Sumbawa. Jadi ini semata-mata kendaraan listrik ini adalah konsen untuk menyelamatkan bumi kita dari emisi, jadi termasuk kelangkaan fosil dan lain sebagainya. Penggunaan energi baru terbarukan akan digalakkan lagi, jadi kendaraan ramah lingkungan yang kami ciptakan ini mudahan bisa menyelamatkan bumi ke depannya. Baik, terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak Jaya. Okay, thank you very much Pak Jaya. Pak Jaya concluding remark is that the focus of Pak Jaya works for the time being from Universitas Teknologi Sumbawa and AKOM is that in producing the electronic bike itself to support the program from the local government to make a sustainable energy, and also there is as the last question also questioning about whether or not the emissions that produced by the electric vehicle are also contributing more the emission compared to the conventional vehicle has been responded by Bapak Peter. Even though both are using oil, still that the electric has much more efficiency compared to the personal vehicle. Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, if you have further questions regarding to the first, second, and also third speaker, especially for the second speaker from Krzysztof Burda, you can visit the chat box. We attach the link on that, so you can type your name and also type your questions either in Bahasa or in English, so we can also accommodate the questions. That's all for Pak Jaya sessions. Thanks. We are now at the last sessions of our webinar. Thank you to our honorable guests and esteemed speakers for participating in this webinar, and also thank you very much, especially for Pak Peter Kho, and also Pak Krzysztof Burda, and also Pak Jaya for their insightful knowledge that has been delivered to us, shared to us. Thank you very much. It was a, extends our knowledge in terms of the electric vehicles. Not only we see from Tesla actually, but also we actually realized that aware that there are lots of local companies that create electric product that can be used especially for us the millennial. And once again, thank you very much for all the sponsors and partners who have support the webinar for today, the webinar. We once again mentions that Trihata Karana, thank you very much for your support. PIRE, Police Chamber of Electromobility Development Association, ECCO Energetica, and also thank you very much for the representative of Kujawsko Pomorskia Regional Government, Miss Sylvia. Thank you very much for attending until the end of the sessions. Thank you very much also for the local government of West Nusa Tenggara, Lombok Debating Groups, Telukra, Historia Language Service, Blue Ocean Lobster, LPP NTB, STP Mataram, Walki Sulawesi Selatan, Green Youth Movement, and Ecotech. And last but not least, thank you very much for all the speakers. Thank you, Bapak Peter Kho, for delivering your insightful knowledge, and thank you again for Jaya for his ideas, knowledge that we are in West Nusa Tenggara actually have a high prestige product for the electromobility. Thank you.
Okay, so now to close this webinar, before closing this webinar, we want to take last documentation with every one of you here. So,
okay.
So you can open your camera for us to be able to document this webinar once more. Okay, so now we have, while waiting, I would like to inform you guys that we have 4 slides. Amazing participants are very excited, and we are going to take one by one. So give your best smiles, and I will count until 3. Okay. So from the first slide, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now moving on to the second slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now to the third slide. 1, 2, 3. And last but not least, the fourth slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the end of our webinar. Once again, thank you so much for everyone here, our amazing speakers, our sponsors, and also the participants for your intention to learn about our environment. And I would like to also remind you that we have the ECCO Ambassador, so do not forget to register yourself and participate. Our speakers have encouraged you, Mr. Peter Kho has encouraged you to actually give your ideas to be, because the government are listening to the youth, and you have the power to actually participate in this type of in this type of environmental changes. So without further ado, we hope that this seminar helps you to gain new knowledge. And as the MC and moderator for the event, we are signing off for today. We'll see you again next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Stay
so
safe.
much. Stay safe and stay healthy, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you so much. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.
See you.
Signing off in 5 seconds. Thank you, everyone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye.
Okay. Thank you for